Hey guys, Adam aka CSRadical here, and thank you for checking out this episode of the VCR Podcast. For more content, you can visit our Instagram at vcr.podcast. If you are looking for a video version of this podcast, you can visit my YouTube channel at CSRadical. And if you are coming from the YouTube channel looking for an audio version of the podcast, you can check us out at anchor.fm/VCR Podcast for all available platforms. Thanks for checking us out, guys, and let's get on with the show.
You have entered the realm of the VCR Podcast with your hosts, Fish,
They're just bastardizing our childhood and the classics.
Chris,
Nintendogs drove me. It's what makes me want to hurt people.
Radical.
People in general still bitch about everything. It still doesn't change.
Let the podcast begin.
Greetings and salutations, happy holidays, and a very happy new year. Welcome to the VCR Podcast, the only podcast that predates itself from the moment the title is spoken. Adam aka CSRadical here, got it on the first try again this week, guys.
Woo! This is Vishal from Vishal's Views.
And we have Monsieur Jean and Chris.
Yes, I'm French now.
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Minus,
You piece of merd.
minus an Adam Trump, but we do have a Britney bitch here today with us.
It's Britney, bitch.
And that's about all we have to say about that.
I was doing a little dance.
Bert, you can actually go now. That's all we needed.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, we got
Thanks, guys, bye.
we got our gender equality quota in for the day. We're good. But it is December 27th, 2019. As we speak, we are. I almost said 5 days removed. I'm like,
Guys,
wait a minute.
I have some sad news. This will be our last podcast for the decade.
Why is that sad? This is
that's
kind of
sad.
like a weird.
I know.
He
I
was
was-
pretending like it was our last podcast, but then he came in at the last second and
Yes, it was
said it was just
misdirection.
the decade.
So we have two shows for you guys. So this is the first of two. This will be a decade in review where we are going to go through first the video games, which is what we're doing right now, but the following podcast that should be up the same day. I assume I'll do that.
For
gonna
the
film it
record, our
right
friend
after.
Adam Trump couldn't be here. He
I
gave us
said-
a list, and it was Madden 10 to Madden 19.
I mean, I'm sure Putin kind of nixed a little bit of something in there, but you know, I mean,
of
aside
Tanks.
from that, yeah, I would assume Madden was in there. Maybe like the odd like NCAA football. Were they still making those games in the 2010s? I feel like they did it for a couple.
No, I
years.
Maybe
think
the very beginning.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think what
I
they-
definitely didn't.
I think because of what ended up happening is the players weren't getting anything from it, so their likeliness couldn't be used.
Yeah, they're like, okay, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Brittany,
Which, to
did
be
you play
fair, if you're-
NCAA? I didn't either.
So this will be, like I said, the first of two. We are going to go through each of us our top 5 games from this year, or not this year.
This
decade.
year? Oh, I gotta fix my list.
Yeah, I don't
I
even
done fucked
think,
up.
Honestly, that probably would have been a much easier.
I
list
don't
to
even
Not
think
one of
I
my games
played
is from
6
this year.
games this year.
do. It was tough.
I
When
played 40.
we get to the films, it's going to be even fucking harder for me.
I had to
But
keep track.
we do have 5, so I think
We
we're gonna...
for the films we did try to limit the MCU
Oh,
content.
you tried to. I fucking wasn't doing that.
I know, I was like,
I only let myself
whole
have one
list.
from the MCU.
Same.
I tried to do that rule, and then I realized, no, I'm going to kick way too many good movies off this list. Nah, I'm not happening.
Mine was a hard choice.
So we're going to go to each person, and they're going to get to do their top 5. We'll obviously chime in with whatever else and tell them every single time that they're wrong, especially Chris.
What? There's no way I'm wrong.
What did I do?
What did I do?
Your mic is cut off.
Oh,
Not yet, not yet.
Yeah.
Can I at least say my games first?
Well, you know what?
Fine.
Or show someone the list and they can read them.
Since you did ask so nicely,
But since Trump's already mentioned you can't choose any Madden games.
Oh,
he'll have to.
I done fucked up. Gotta fix my list
Well,
all over.
Yeah, fuck.
I don't know what he's going to do. But since you did ask so nicely, why don't you kick us off? So what's your top 5? Or I guess the 5 you picked if you didn't have them in order.
All right, so I have them only in order of when they came out, or possibly one of them is out of order, but it's when I played it because it's an MMO and it spanned the entire decade actually. So I don't know. So my first game, RuneScape. You guys ever no? So my first game was Assassin's Creed Revelations. It's the final Ezio
That's right.
trilogy game.
I keep thinking, I'm like, was that the... I'm like, no, that's
What year
Assassin's
did that
Creed
one
3?
come out?
That one was
That would have been like beginning of the
2011,
decade for sure,
2012.
right? Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, it was right near. It was after Brotherhood, before Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed has a very weird numbering
Timeline.
scale thing where each numbered game would be a different assassin, but then they'd have other games that were. It wasn't like they were
Is
spin-offs.
it
Like they were this
Final
continued story.
Fantasy 7 and all those.
No,
weird-ass
it's way
spin-offs?
worse.
It's
than
yeah,
that.
it's way worse.
It went Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's
At
Creed
least when
Brotherhood.
Final Fantasy puts a number on it, you
Assassin's
know
Creed
it's a different
Revelations.
story.
Yeah.
And
then
they always put
Assassin's
the number
Creed 3.
with it. Every game in Final Fantasy VII attached to it. Assassin's Creed was like, we know that this is a sequel to 2, but we're not going to say Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood. We're just going to be like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Figure it out.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. The 5th game is Assassin's Creed 3.
That's like the Xbox X Series X.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yes.
A whole other podcast. The thing's a PC.
Speaking of which, we do plan in the new year to record a podcast that just goes through the entirety of 2019, but that's like a whenever we can figure out what to fucking do
We're
that.
gonna have to get drunk for that one.
I mean, talk about 10
I mean,
years.
we're gonna have to catch up to Vishal for that one.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like it.
I'm
so
on the same pace as you right now. Okay.
this is true. This is true.
And there's Guinness in the fridge.
Oh,
But we're going to the bar after. He's like, one Guinness here,
so much
one
Guinness
Guinness
there.
there. Here a Guinness, there a Guinness, everywhere a Guinness.
Oh,
Damn
man.
it.
Guinness had a farm.
Wow.
Cricket.
E-I-E.
There are so many crickets.
Can you just E-I-E-I.
So my video game list.
Madden.
Assassin's Creed Revelations. It wasn't the first one of the decade that was Brotherhood. But it was like I picked up in the same year I picked up Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, and I played through all 3 of those. I bought them all like used from EB for
I hold a spot of Brotherhood in my
$5
heart
each.
just because the final boss is you literally fist fighting the Pope.
Yeah. That
is
was an
awesome.
amazing
That is
one.
awesome, actually.
It's
But
fucking fantastic.
Revelations was the first one that when I was done Brotherhood, Revelations was coming out a month later. So the
Yeah.
other ones I all
So it was
got
perfect
used.
timing.
I played them from EB. They were like $7 a piece, whatever the heck they
So
were.
it probably helped because everything was still fresh for you.
Yeah. So
Whereas,
it's
like, if you don't play
always.
these games for like 2 years, you're like, what was that? Oh, yeah!
Yeah. So all 3 of them I played, and then I went and pre-ordered Revelations because back then, you still did, so you could get it day one because that was a physical disc back then. That was the only way to get it.
Is it that Assassin's Creed kept releasing game every year so we can follow story and
I
not
don't
because
think
of
that-
money?
I don't think they were yearly ever until...
No, they weren't always
I think
yearly.
until after Black Flag, then they started becoming
Yeah, it was
yearly.
after Black Flag, and that's also when the story that took place in the present was like it doesn't exist anymore. Assassin's Creed.
they don't go back and forth anymore?
They do
They
now.
do,
with
but
the
there
new, with the
wasn't-
new set they're doing, yes, but...
Assassin's Creed 1 through 3, so the first 5 games, as weird as that sounds, they were in the present. It was one story, like where you were following a guy named Desmond, and the end of the world was happening in 2012. So that is when the 3rd game came out, obviously enough. But the first game, which came out in 2007 or something like that, they're like, in 2012, the world's going to end, like the whole Mayan
And
calendar
they somehow
thing.
managed to push out
And
that many games.
they somehow managed to
No
make
wonder
it so...
some of them were hit and miss.
Yeah,
Like
so maybe they were
like
yearly.
1 and 3.
Yeah.
The Ezio games were pretty solid. 1
Yeah.
was really boring, and 3 was just bad.
3, I liked the story still that took place in the present. The actual gameplay
From
of...
what I hear,
yeah.
1 was just painfully repetitive.
Well,
It
that's
was.
because they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah,
yet.
it was also
their
the first
attempt.
game, so they had tried, and I mean, it was like the actual story still was a
Well,
brand
yeah,
new
the
thing.
setting
It
was cool.
The setting was amazing. Used to like hide amongst monks and actually walk into cities that way, which I always thought was super.
Yeah, it was a
cool.
fantastic idea. It's
Yeah.
just the problem was they didn't know how at that point.
Yeah.
Then they realized in the second game, fuck it, just throw money at people, and we'll have a bunch of people
Yeah.
speaking in fake
Yeah.
Italian. Done,
Yeah, so good.
and it worked.
Can you understand Italian?
Not really.
Oh,
I can assassino. That's all you need to know.
I understood every time you
What does
throw
that mean?
gold.
It.
Assassin.
oh.
I didn't know if you were joking and I was going to
No,
fall
I
for your
really
trap
didn't
or
know.
not.
No, the only thing I knew is that when you throw money to distract people, all you hear is a bunch of people with fake Italian accents going, money, money.
It was a very realistic game.
That was my solution to every problem. I'm just standing on a roof, just being like, I was like making it rain.
Yeah. Their explanation why everybody spoke English is because you're somebody in the present revisiting memories, and the program is automatically translating it for you.
And apparently,
but sometimes they'd
and
speak
apparently
Italian, and sometimes they'd
That's- yeah.
speak
He's so bad at
horrible
Google Translate
English.
because money, money.
Yeah, it was bad. That part, but
What?
it's
Yeah.
a bit of your imagination.
Google,
make the
what
game
does
work.
money mean?
Yeah.
Money.
It means money, retard.
That's literally, that's the actual money retard.
Yeah, but Revelations was amazing, and to this day, for me, it still has the best music in the series, and I still listen to it on Spotify sometimes. Like that specific game, and because it was the last or second last game that had the one, the composer, I forget his name. What either way?
John Williams?
No.
No, it definitely was not John
It was
Williams.
not John Williams.
If John Williams did a video game, I don't think Assassin's Creed would have been his first choice.
Yeah.
Probably would be Star Wars. He probably
Wait
has
a
done.
minute.
Or the
Wait.
Jaws game on Nintendo, composed by John Williams. Yeah, so that's my first game. Second one, I had a tie. I couldn't pick between them, but they're both indie-ish games. I have Journey and Fez.
Journey,
So Journey
I
on
heard
PS3
is incredible.
I played that game. I played on Christmas. So I used to have a tradition where Christmas night I would play through a short game up until 6 a.m. Then I go shower and go to Boxing Day shopping at 6 a.m. Actually, I'd hit Tim Hortons because they finally reopened at 6 a.m. because it's the one day of the year they're closed. So I'd have withdrawal symptoms. Get a breakfast sandwich and a coffee, which conveniently was right beside Best Buy where we used to work for
Yes.
Shaw. I'd go in there. I would buy a video game or whatever the heck I was going to buy. And Journey was one of the games I'd done that with. And it was like a super good game. Like,
I think still to this day, Journey's the only game to ever have a Grammy nomination.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grammy nomination?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, it was such a good game. It was one of those games, like you play co-op kind of, like while you're playing, another character might show up, which is another person playing the same game. And it's just, you wake up or you're a thing that wakes up and you have to get to the top of this mountain. It's only one of those things where the story plays out only from visual cues that you see as you're going along. There's no dialogue, there's really emotional music, but no talking, or you can make like sounds. So when another person is also playing the game, you can actually play through it together, but you have no way of communicating except by making sounds. And there's like happy sound, sad sound. And that's
so
it.
funny.
And as you're playing, like, you somehow become very attached to this other person you're playing with, because you can only make, like, you get to the end of the level and you start making these happy sounds, but if one of you falls too far behind or goes too far ahead, you actually lose each other and you can't re-find each other.
This sounds like the saddest game.
It is. And then all of a sudden, like, I had this thing where you are sliding down this sand dune thing, like, but it's it's basically like a slide. In this one temple, and I went too early, and then I got to the bottom, and I was sitting there waiting for the other person, and I'd been playing for 2 hours with this random person, and all of a sudden the character never showed up, and I remember pressing the sad sound a couple times, like, are you there? And like they never came back. So then I had no choice but to go to the next area, and then all of a sudden, eventually I met another person, and we got to the end together, and then this very emotional ending happens where it turns out that this is an endless cycle. So when you get to the end, you turn into a beam of light, go back to the beginning, and start the game again. So that beam of light you started as, that was just you doing the same thing over and over.
So the
Groundhog
lesson is-
Day, the video game.
Pardon?
Groundhog Day, the video game.
Yeah, a lot more emotional.
So the moral of the story is you're forever alone.
Yeah. So I beat the game with another person, and as we're walking, we're making like the happy sounds, like, oh my god, we beat the game. Takes like 2.5, 3 hours, not very long.
Yeah, I heard it's
Then all of
not
a sudden
very
the two characters start to like fall over and deteriorate, and then they just die, and you're alone again at the beginning. You're like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh my god, I want to play this so bad.
It's so
now.
good.
What's it for?
It was on
It's-
PS3,
it's on, like,
on
it's on
PS4,
PlayStation.
and it's on computer.
PS3.
I
Going down.
Yeah,
I feel like Brittany's gonna like start crying and
Yeah.
mess.
You
with
just
it.
need, like,
I
a-
fucking hate you guys.
You just need like
Sad, sad,
3,
sad.
maybe 4 hours. That's it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't take much out of you.
And then Fez.
Emotionally, it does though.
Fez was a game where you're this little white guy wearing a fez, and it was a 2D game, but you don't actually, you move left and right this character, and it's a platformer, but you actually rotate
Yeah, it's
the
like it's
3D
like
background.
almost like a cube.
Is there? I think I've heard this game. There's a red character and it says, "I'm gonna put my foot in your ass."
No, that's definitely
absolutely
not
not
it.
this
Okay.
game.
That is definitely
No,
not it.
So it doesn't take place in the 70s.
No, and again, this is one that has very little dialogue, but it has a really, really, really good music by a guy named Disaster Piece. He does like Netflix movies and stuff. Like really, really great composer for movies and video games. But like you'll be climbing a tower, but it looks like you can't do anything, but then you notice there's a little thing here. As you jump, you have to hit the R2 button or R2,
The triggers.
The triggers. And it actually rotates that tower and then you land.
So you're actually on like a 3D space,
Yeah.
but you're still only moving.
But you're
like
stuck
you would
on
like
this
a,
side
like
of
a
the
Mario
2D.
game. But instead, you're actually tilting
Is
the
it kind
level.
of like Paper Mario, where Mario changes perspective?
Yes,
as
but
his-
in
imagine the
terms of
background
4
changes
axes.
perspective. You never do.
So you're still moving left and right,
yeah.
but you're actually tilting the level around.
Yeah, you have to move the level to progress. It's super cool.
Yeah, that's actually a really
Yeah,
cool concept.
and it's all pixelated, but it's like 2013 where they took the pixels and made it like
It's fluid.
really, really beautiful looking because they
It
can
took
actually think.
a long time to make too.
Yeah, it
and
was
it's a real
Phil
shame.
Fish or something.
And
These,
it's a real shame too because he's become like a really bad name in the
There's a
industry.
documentary called Video.
Why?
Just because he's a
game-
colossal dick. Like not
Indie
even like
game the
scandal
movie.
stuff, but he just apparently was a real asshole.
Yeah, there's a documentary called Indie Game the Movie. I think it's even on Netflix. This game is one of the 3 games featured on there.
This is before you knew he was a dick.
Yeah. It turns out the guy was a dick, and yeah.
He got to a point that like people harassed him about the second game so much that he said, "You know what? Fuck you guys. It's not happening."
Yeah. And
Just
he
like
hasn't
that.
done
What?
anything to
And
the
he
first
just-
game.
he's
He never
vanished.
ported it because they could re-release this on PS4 and stuff, like on the PlayStation Store, and they'd make money.
Yeah.
You could put it on an iPad.
He's
and
basically
make
just
money,
fuck you, the fans,
but- Yeah. He just gave up. He got pissed and
because he
walked
got
away.
mad at trolls probably.
Yeah. He read internet comments, which you don't do.
You know what? Somebody said this podcast is mediocre. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Podcast canceled.
Cancel
Yeah,
podcast.
great.
But Fez was a really great game, but it was also the first game I played when I built that computer right there. It was the very first one
First
that I
one.
bought and played.
Damn.
My very first Steam summer sale. So
Yeah.
my heart, right?
And it's a nice little game just to kind of chill with.
Yeah, it was super chill. Great music. Again, I still listen to it on
Did you ever
Spotify.
play Owlboy?
I haven't played it yet, but I do have it.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, boy.
It's stuck in the back.
That one's another fantastic, like
Yeah.
indie, like almost old sprite level looking.
Yeah,
I've
but
heard
like,
of it.
It's a beautiful game.
Fucking gorgeous.
It
game.
looks like a
It's
Game
like-
Boy Advance platformer, but with like even better pixel art.
It's like 4K Game Boy Advance. Yeah, that's like
yeah,
a great way of
4K
looking
Game
at
Boy
it.
Advance. Yeah. You're an owl boy. It's as it sounds.
I
Great.
just bought it for someone for Christmas. So.
You did.
I did.
There's a
What?
lot of there's a lot of those
Have you
games you
played?
notice now
I
too.
have not.
Oh,
Like you have those games, you have like Ori and the Blind Forest. Like we have
Yes.
seen like a real resurgence of like just these cool little sweet like platforms.
yeah. My next game is Final Fantasy 14. It came out in 2010.
Wait,
I
you
didn't-
like Final Fantasy?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
There's
my
not a list-
tattoo is literally Final
I was gonna
Fantasy
say, you
13.
don't have a
not even the
Lee
good
tattoo.
Final Fantasy, and that's how much I love the franchise. But 14 came out in 2010, but I didn't start playing until
Wait,
on PC.
Are we
like,
talking the like?
the
Did
MMO?
they actually re-release it in 2010, or was
No,
that like, the
2010
original?
was the original
Okay, yeah.
shitty release that didn't go well.
That's such a great story too. They were like, oh, it's gonna be this brand new thing that you'll never play before, and then people played it and be like, this is fucking literally like everything that Final Fantasy 11 was
Yeah,
already.
it was not good. 1.0 like the version.
Like,
But
have you
then
seen footage of what the old version looked like? It looks fucking horrendous.
They literally had a meteor come down and destroy the world, and then they re-released
they
the game as
retconned the entire
2.0
original game
Wow.
and
because
then
it wasn't
dropped
doing well. And then when they re-released 2.0, which is when I got on
there's-
board,
there's
still going
literally-
strong. They're making billions.
There's literally
Millions,
a scene where it's the entire
Million,
like
cajillion, trillions,
Gillion,
bazillions.
there's legitimately like a video that you can find of I guess this conference with all like the shareholders of the directors team literally bowing and apologizing for how fucking bad that game was.
Is it as bad?
That's unheard of.
Is that as bad as WWE 2K20?
No.
Yes,
It wa-
actually.
What?
Because it wasn't a
glitchy.
broken mess. It was just absolute trash.
Yeah, They
Like,
just didn't make a
It
good
was a
game.
slap in the face
Yeah.
if you were a consumer.
Yeah.
And this is before microtransaction bullshit.
Yeah, it was just-
wasn't
Oh, wow.
It wasn't a game that just fucked you out of your money. It was a game that fucked you out of your money and your time.
Yeah. And
'Cause
it
it was
cost
just- it was
$60, and then
terrible.
it was $15 a
Yeah.
month to play, which it still is.
And it's honestly worth it if that's the one game you play.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's the one thing you do and you do that 6 months, it's worth every dollar you spend. I would love to have played that game more, but I can't justify paying $15 a month for one game when I play PlayStation and I
Yeah.
pay about the same or even less every month to play whatever the fuck I feel like.
Yeah. And you can, like, if you're a new person coming to the game, they always have the newest expansion for like $20 or $25, and when you buy it, you get, I think, 1 or 2 months free if it's your first time buying
Yeah.
it, and you get everything before it. You get all the previous stuff for free because they keep building on it. But it's just a great MMO. I played like 300 something hours of it.
Yeah, even the free trial that I did, I fucking loved it. And
Yeah.
it made me almost want to get back
Yeah.
into MMOs, but I also remembered, oh yeah, I'm playing Destiny.
The thing I loved about
I
it,
can't do both.
Which is your MMO?
the thing I loved about it is that when it came out, it was the best Final Fantasy even if you were to compare it against all the
So-
Final Fantasies that had recently come out, meaning 13, 13
Does
2,
it have a
13
campaign
3.
mode? Or is it purely MMO?
No,
There's-
it's basically Final Fantasy's World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's like a story with main
You can
quests.
play it alone.
But there's a ton of side quests, and even when you're done the main quest, you can go and constantly just go to a boss battle that literally takes 3 straight days to beat, where you go in, you fight for a while, and then you leave, but there's 99 other people fighting this one boss.
Yeah, there's Final Fantasy has a love for just having bosses that take way too fucking long to do.
Like literally 3 straight days
even
of
the
people
newest
attacking.
game,
100 of them.
15, had a boss that would take you like, what was the tortoise boss in 15? Was it like 4 or 5 hours to beat?
Yeah.
And it's just you wailing on it
I
consistently.
found there was
Well,
a secret
dude,
for...
if the ninjas are pretty quick, you have to kill. They are going to kill you slow. You got to kill them.
It
slowly.
was a fucking mountain-sized turtle.
It was literally a
Oh,
mountain.
so it wasn't a ninja type.
No,
Oh.
no,
No.
it was definitely not a ninja. If you had a ninja turtle that fucking size, you're like, you know what, we're fucked. Game over, man.
Yeah.
Game over.
Yeah. Anyways, just a great MMO and the best Final Fantasy at the time until 15 came out.
It's definitely, like, since the move from PlayStation 2, it's definitely been the best one.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, it was...
As much as I like 15, 14's still the best. Like, it's... Realm Reborn is such a well-crafted game. Like, even as a guy who's not that big into MMORPGs anymore, even after, like, a month's trial, I'm like, dude.
Yeah,
This
and
game's-
it's got
this game's,
fan
like,
service to
well-made.
like every Final Fantasy because you can choose what job you are. If you want to be a job that's like a knight from Final Fantasy 4, you can.
They also even, I
but
think,
they have
had,
like newer stuff.
I think they had, like, an event, too, that was, like, a callback to 12.
Yeah,
We actually
you
fight,
go
like,
to
bosses
Evilus
from
and you
it.
fight some things. Yeah, they constantly are going back to other games. They'll like unlock outfits that are for Final Fantasy 7.
Can you
and
imagine
stuff like that?
Now that 7's about to come out,
Oh, they'll have an event.
do
in the
you
game.
think they'd actually have you fighting Sephiroth in that game?
I don't know about Sephiroth,
Not
but
right
they'd have
away.
like Genova or
No.
something.
They do Omega.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait,
yeah. They probably do one of
Sephiroth
the
in
Omega
Final
ones.
Fantasy 15 or 7?
No, like 14.
In 14.
Oh, okay.
Because these games have events. Like right
Okay,
now
fine.
is the Christmas event.
They will totally give you outfits.
Oh,
at
they'll
least
give you
do
outfits, and they'll give you like a raid boss where everybody fights a boss from one of the older games. Because they've done that with other
I was
games
so
too.
mad because just before my trial ended up, like that's when they brought in Ultros from 6. I'm like, no!
Oh yeah, they had Ultras. Yeah. So it's just a good MMO. A lot of fun. You can play with a controller too, so it's not overly complicated. You don't need like a keyboard or anything.
I mean, you'd be better off, but it's nice that they gave the option.
Yeah, I actually used the controller the whole time because I would play on the TV on the couch.
Yeah.
My next game is actually a set of games. I couldn't pick one because they're all kind of the same. The Jackbox games.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So fun.
They're so good.
They basically reinvented party gaming.
They may actually,
They-
like, if I had to pick on this list, if I was like, okay, you're going to an island, you got to pick one game, it probably would be the Jackbox games if I'm not going alone. As long
Yes.
because if I'm alone, I mean, that's kind of useless.
What's your favorite like single game though? Like, no, I'm not talking
Quiplash
party pack.
is
I'm
just
just
a
talking
like
like favorite game.
Quiplash is
It's
a
just
classic.
a classic.
Yeah, Quiplash's good, but I think I'd have to say that the Inventor game.
Yes.
I can't remember its
Patently
name.
stupid.
Patently stupid. Where you have to invent something, then draw
That one
it,
is
give it a slogan, and
hilarious.
present it to everybody.
Yes.
We've had some really funny drunk nights.
Some
playing
also
that.
really offensive
Yes.
ones. Too.
Very
Oh,
offensive.
yes.
Very
There-
offensive.
there was
Something
one-
things we
No, we
won't
can't-
put on this
no,
podcast.
we can't
I will
repeat it.
not mention the invention or the idea or anything about this thing and who did it, but I had to run to the washroom. I was about to piss myself laughing from this invention. It was that funny and that offensive and that wrong.
But that's the beauty of them too. Like, obviously, everybody used to play. Like, obviously, you do like charades. You'd even do like now. You had Cards Against Humanity, which was starting to become a thing. What Jackbox
and now
did
what do you meme as well?
was take the format of those kinds of games, make them easy to play for anybody. It doesn't require physical things. Like, everybody has a phone.
Yeah, it's just your phone.
And then with a game like Quiplash, like, as I explained to most people who'd never heard of it, Quiplash is Cards Against Humanity without having to have a hand. It's all from here. It's all from your head. So the beauty of those games is that it gave you the opportunity to play a game that doesn't demand any sort of luck, that doesn't demand any sort of physical thing. You don't have to hope to God that, like, you just have the right card at the right moment. It's just literally, you got 60 seconds, make something up funny.
Yeah, and it's perfect. It's the perfect set of games.
It's like it can literally turn any night into such a fun, like, epic, hilarious night.
And
And,
then-
you still talk about it later. Be like, oh, remember we were playing Quiplash? You put this as this answer, and we start laughing about it again.
And they've been getting so much better too, because a lot of the newer ones they keep perfecting and re-release and redoing like new concepts. Like they started doing, since I think the one that had Trivia Murder Party, they had this like almost like social experiment sort of game where it was like a monster dating game.
Oh, the monster dating game, yes.
And that game isn't really that much fun to play because it's still confusing.
Is this on a Jackbox game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on 4?
So I think
Maybe
it's
5?
4.
I don't remember.
So what happened is because if we tried to play it seriously and we couldn't do it, so what we started doing is we started making up characters for ourselves. So I would be Macho Man, and because you have to. The way that it works is that you have to send texts to the other players and try to get them to ask you out on a date.
Yeah,
So
you're texting each other.
If you're just
Oh my
texting
God,
yourselves
Adam sent
normally,
the
it's
dick
no
pic.
fun. So you have to be like, "Oh yeah, I got you for 3 minutes." You got to do stuff like that. And we at least found a way to make it fun, but it still wasn't that good. Now with the newest Jackbox, they have the game where it's a bunch of you on a spaceship and you got to figure out who the aliens are on the ship and you got to kick them off.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it like that Mafia game?
Oh my God, can we
In a
play
way,
that?
yes.
Yeah, it's on Jackbox
And it's
6. We have to have a
fantastic.
party and play this. I
It's-
missed Jackbox.
And that's the thing, like
That
that.
was so fun on Halloween when we played it. That was the first time I ever played it, and that's literally one of the
That was the
most
first
fun
time
nights.
you ever
you
played.
ever played a Jackbox
Yeah.
game? Oh
And
my
it's
gosh.
easily-
Yeah,
it's-
there's so many more.
If I was to pick a pack, I'd even pick the newest one right now because they have 4 solid games.
Yeah, I still
'Cause
gotta
they
pick that one
have Trivia Murder Party 2, which is always a blast. They have,
Yeah.
like I said, this alien one. I can't think of the name of it. They have one that's called Joke Boat, which is they'll give you the first half of a joke and be like, and you have to make the punchline. And it really lets your creativity go.
Yeah.
And
I like
And
that.
the other one that they have that I really like, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but what they do is they give you, it's either they start with the definition and you got to make up the word. I think that's what it is. They'll give you just a random definition.
Yeah.
I think it's called Dictionarium. But they'll give you a definition, then you got to make a word for it. Of course, you're going to do something dirty with it. So then they'll take the word that wins. Now you got to write a definition for it. And then you take that and you got to put it in a sentence.
Oh.
And then they show the actual dictionary thing for what you just made
Yeah.
by the end of the game.
Yeah, we have to have a Jackbox.
Yeah,
now.
that sounds absolutely.
But that's the thing is,
I also love that robot rap battle game.
well, that's
Yeah.
the thing. There's something for everybody, and especially like I know my brother owns all 6. I'm slowly waiting for them to go even a little bit cheaper so I can get the last 2.
Yeah.
But you can go through all
Is the
6
newest
of them.
one on
pick a game,
sale
okay,
right
I'll
now
get
on
this
the
one. I'll get
PlayStation
this one.
Store?
I'll get this.
I mean,
one.
it is on PC. I'm assuming it's on sale everywhere.
The only thing I wish they do is
double check.
they'd mesh it all together into one screen so you can flip between the games rather than having to close
Yeah,
it, get the
they've
other
Gotta
one.
combine them and just make it where it's the newer games are just like
Or
DLC.
you know what? Just yeah, exactly. Just recess Jackbox and then make the games DLC.
Like if,
Yeah.
if they can pull, like say for Steam, for example, if they can pull off the Steam store that you already have these installed, it should just be a quick flip.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice if you could do that.
Because now it's 30 games, like 30 little games within. Because it's 5 per each, and now they're on 6. So
it's an Inception.
yeah, exactly. If they just had it where you open it and all 30
game
games are
within
there,
the
and you
game,
just switch
within
between them,
the
that would be
game,
so
within
And well, and
Oh,
technically
much easier.
they've even had a couple of side games. Fibbage was its own thing. Quiplash was its own. Drawful 2
Yeah.
was its own.
Yeah. Oh, Drawful. That was
And then
a
there's
good
still like like the other games that kind of like Use Your Words came out, which is the one that Brentalfloss was a part of.
one. Yep.
What?
Yeah.
And that was the one that we played that had the movie clips that would play, and you had to write the
Oh
subtitles.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Jackbox started that, and
Yeah.
it started all the way back in the day with You Don't Know Jack.
You
but
Don't
then
Know
they
Jack,
brought
yeah.
it back
Yeah.
and came in with.
Yeah. Quiplash.
Oh yeah, You Don't Know Jack is also I think part of that pack.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But it's fucking great.
Yeah. So yeah, Jackbox, as we've all discussed.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So good.
So what's your last one?
Well, I mean, having a Final Fantasy / Legend of Zelda tattoo, I could not finish this off
Breath of
without
the Wild.
also mention. Yeah, it's Breath
Link's
of the
Awakening,
No, it's Breath of the Wild. Link's
was-
Awakening was fun,
Spirit
but
Tracks.
it's
It
not
was-
a Breath of the Wild.
It was
Spirit
Breath of the Wild
Tracks.
or Skyward Sword.
No, not Skyward Sword. I was not a big fan of Skyward Sword.
You gave it a 10 when you played it.
I gave it a 10.
You said, I was like, how would you think? He's like, 10. Like, it's a 10.
The game is amazing. I just wish they didn't have the motion controls.
Yeah, can you like? It would be nice if they re-released it.
If
on
they
Switch.
re-released that on Switch with like just normal
Proper
controller,
controls.
I would be so horny for it. It's insane how much I'd want to play that and how I'd get excited. It's insane. It's crazy. But
I mean, Link is pretty hot. I mean, let's be honest.
Right. But yeah, Breath of the Wild, obviously it's just, it was a different take on Zelda, and I can't lie, the first hour of it, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. Like, every weapon you have breaks
Yeah,
after a
but
certain
I mean,
amount of uses and
I think
everything.
I think it's more because like you're so used to the
to it,
same
yeah.
formula that it just
But
takes you a
is
while
it,
to rewrite it.
Is it like anyway, like even like the higher up weapons, like the Master Sword?
So
or
the
that-
Master Sword is the only weapon that doesn't break, but after a certain amount of uses, it loses power and you can't use it for a bit.
Oh.
So then 5 minutes later, you can get it back.
Which, in all honesty, is probably for the best because if you get the Master Sword and you never want to use anything else in the game, the entire crafting system and getting weapons randomly just takes the point away from it.
yeah,
Is there like a special bow and arrow in that game? Because in Smash Brothers, playing as Link from Breath of the Wild, like his
Those
power
like, blue
move-
glowy arrows.
you get at the end of the game, just like every Legend of Zelda game, the light arrows. That's probably what you're thinking.
Okay, so
It's just the light arrows.
okay, because it was a very anticlimactic, I would say, super move for Link, where it's like he just fires a bow.
Well, because it's the only thing that can hurt Ganon.
But it's a super bow.
So that's
I get it. But
Yeah.
It's the Master Bow.
no, it's like when you're playing as Samus, like she fires a gigantic photon beam,
Yeah.
and then It's like, oh, this is
Yeah, I don't know what else Link would have. He'd have to like summon something.
I like the move that they did in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, he's not going to make the moon from Majora's Mask come crashing down.
Slashing.
Oh, the Triforce, yeah, they could have done that.
But anyways, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. But the game, because it was so different, even though it's your weapons break, eventually you actually like are finding so many amazing weapons that are even better than the Master Sword. And they're like on fire, or they freeze things in ice, or whatever it may be, or they hit with lightning, and then certain things are weak to certain things. You actually have it where your giant inventory, you have like 33 weapons, and like you open a new one and you don't even have space for it. But it's so good, but you have to replace something else with it. And he can hold spears, and he can hold bow and arrows, and he can hold boomerangs and all this other stuff, but it's like a boomerang that is also on fire.
So the weapon inventory is pretty well balanced.
Yeah.
But no one cares about that part.
No.
Oh, actually,
all you care about is Chef Link.
Yes, and you can cook in it, and the cooking gives you like if you're going up a freezing cold mountain, you have to either have certain clothes that you bought or crafted that keep you warm so your health doesn't go down, or you have to eat certain foods like chili peppers that keep you warm while you're climbing this mountain, or you will die and not even make it to the top.
Or you can just not be a bitch and just go shirtless the entire game because why the fuck not?
Well, you'll die in the mountain if you try and
Well,
climb
that's
shirtless.
no fun.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't
It's
do
a
that.
video game. I don't give a shit.
But then if
about
you're
realism.
wearing the cold stuff when you go to like the desert, you'll die from overheating.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering one thing with Breath of the Wild. Again, it was just from Smash Brothers. Do you get when you have full health in Zelda games, you can blast a beam from the sword. Can you do that in Breath of the Wild?
Only with the Master Sword.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Because every other weapon is like, again, it's on fire. And
Yeah, what are you
if
gonna do,
the you can do the powerful like build-up attack, but when you do it, it's like
Can you imagine that?
fireballs come out with the spear when you use
Just
it.
holding a Deku stick and just go and it just shoots a beam. You're like, what the fuck is in this stick?
Yeah.
It's a Deku stick on steroids.
Yeah. But again, it's really different. You only have 4 main dungeons and then the final dungeon, but there's 100 small dungeons that you can find, and every time you find them, you get a point, and those points either you can get more stamina, more magic, or more health. And you choose what you want it to go to. Or maybe it's just more stamina and more health. I don't think there's magic. No, it's just stamina and health.
So there's no mana.
No.
You can't
But
tap your
stamina, you need it, because if you're climbing the side of a mountain, your stamina slowly goes down, and if you run out, you fall. If you want to sprint, like away from bad guys, because sometimes you go to an area and they will fucking murder you, you need to run away, and if you don't have enough stamina, you don't make it. So it's like, I should give it stamina, but I also don't have enough hearts. So it's like constantly like, which one do I want to do? And it's impossible in the game to max out both.
Did you have a Shadow of the Colossus moment in that game?
What do you mean by a moment?
The horse falling off a cliff.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Spoiler alert, you fucking bastard.
Says the guy who likes spoiling a lot of things when he talks about games. That game is older than even this decade.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good when
the
you
game
got.
is literally a year old.
But you can have multiple horses. You don't just have Epona. You have multiple horses with different stats that you keep at the horse stables throughout the map because it's open world, and you can just go and pick one up at any point and use it and take off. And some are great, some are very skittish and get afraid as soon as an enemy's there, and you fall off and they take off, and you're like, you fucking bastard. Yeah.
Useless.
Yeah, useless horses, right? Come on. Ugh. Just because you were a wild horse and I caught you and trained you and forced you to live in the stables.
So it's like that one movie, Stellan Cimarron.
I have no
I
idea.
have no
what
idea
you're
what
talking
It's
talking
an
about.
animated movie from DreamWorks. It was about a horse.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it, but I do know the DVD cover.
It's a beautiful movie. It's like beautiful artistic wise. It's not that great.
Did
of a
you
movie.
cry?
No. It's not one of those movies you get. It's not like the Woody and Buzz friendship that makes you. That make Toy
Oh,
Story
well, we'll
4
get to
so
that on the other show.
soul-crushing.
But yeah, that was all my games. That was the decade for me. Top 5, 6.
All right, Vish. Start with you.
Okay.
In no particular order,
I'm
imagine.
gonna mention this game first with you because it's on our both of our lists.
Well, I mean, we can talk about Spider-Man when it gets to me.
Okay. So
I
Spider-Man
know
was
what you're
there,
talking about.
but I'm going to talk about that later with Adam. So Heavy Rain. This list is also in order of chronological. Heavy Rain, and that was a video game for me that wasn't a video game. It was an interactive movie. It was such a different gaming experience and such a different format that I've never seen before.
And I mean, it had been done plenty of times before, usually with PC, but this is the time that I think console really got a sense of what this kind of game was.
It was the first time I would say it went mainstream, though.
Yes and no. I mean, we've had titles like Secret of Monkey Island, you had Grim Fandango, like all the old LucasArts games that they were making. But in terms of I guess if you want to talk our version of what a mainstream market is now, where it's commercialized, yeah, for sure.
I feel like it. Yeah, Vishal's got a good point because it was one of the first times where it was almost like they took that genre, but they made it quick time events.
Yeah.
Like where it was like the cars coming at you,
It
press
became-
triangle
right away.
It became less a click your own adventure, so much of like a more like a move.
Do this,
react.
do this,
Yeah,
do this. Yeah.
Yeah, choose your own adventure
And-
with like timed button presses that are
Yeah, it was-
very important because you're cutting off your fingers.
And
I
a
like
lot
to call move and react.
Yeah.
And a lot, like, for the record, friends, this game is 10 years old now in about 4 days. So, spoiler alerts don't matter anymore.
He says that he gave me shit for giving Shadow of the Colossus spoilers.
Yeah. Game from like 2006.
But you're talking about...
Oh, Breath of the Wild, that wasn't a spoiler. Your horse will fall off a cliff.
Yeah, no, that's just like while you're running
just
around.
do it by
on the
accident.
Oh!
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't part of the story. No, this is
Oh, okay, it is...
while
okay.
using the stupid horse and you're just trying to go from point A to point B.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's I thought you meant like Epona like dies in the
I mean,
game.
Epona can.
No, they're not going to do that in the Nintendo
Well,
game.
you can
kill
name,
off the horse.
You can name the horse Epona and then just launch it off a
What,
cliff and it
no,
dies.
There might
because,
be
like-
a special horse that is Epona, but I can't remember.
But like there was like that scene in Shadow of the Colossus that pretty much broke everyone's soul.
Yeah. Speaking of breaking souls, Heavy Rain.
Yeah, so there is, the cool thing is like almost every decision in that game mattered. Like there's like over 20 endings. Chris, I know, played it to the point that he watched all the endings in the game.
yeah, I was an achievement hunter and needed all of them, and
So-
it's the only way to get them.
I YouTubed them all, but I
Ain't nobody got time
But
for that.
what was cool is just like the villain reveal, and this is where I'm telling spoiler alert. There's so many times the villain's a traitor. The villain is someone you expect to be. The villain turns out to be the overly moralistic dickhead, or like the overly religious person, or it's like the big reveal. But what was insane about this villain reveal? You were playing as the villain the entire time, and you were collecting evidence as the villain and destroying it. You were like completely misled the entire time.
Yeah, you're
in this
basically the
game.
detective for this entire game, taking the evidence that should have incriminated whoever it was and just
Yeah.
being like, whoop!
Yeah.
And like that's what blew my mind about this game. It was like, because I remember I was playing. It was a night I had nothing to do, and it was a Saturday night, and I was up at 1 a.m. and I found out that's when I found the villain reveal that night. I still remember because I had chills down my spine. It's like I was playing this fucking guy the entire time.
A lot of games try to play the "you've been the villain the entire time" card, and very few make them work. That's one of them.
This is one that definitely
I remember
made it
like
work.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. It turned out you were the Sith Lord that they had been fabling about the
Yeah.
entire game, and it reveals that you've been that the whole time. What
Was it
the-
obvious or no?
No.
No.
Came out of left field. You never would have thought it.
Yeah.
Spec Ops: The Line does the same thing.
Yeah.
In a way, like you're not necessarily the villain. But
Yeah, you just kinda-
become
You
one.
become one, yeah, in the
like,
story.
but it's very rare that games do that without it being either a convoluted mess or just not the right decision.
But this one, it was like, again, a whole thing. Like at the end, it all made sense.
Yeah.
And this game did not like have any boundaries.
Have you played any other of the David Cage games?
No.
Like Beyond Two Souls or Detroit Become Human?
No, but I hear they're pretty good.
I would suggest if you can't, because it's obviously cheap, try Beyond Two Souls because it's very interesting to have a game that has like basically Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe in it, which is kind of
Oh yeah, that's
Interesting.
a pretty good cast.
that game actually made me cry at one point in it, which is very rare in games.
Is it like Grave of the
Whitney
Fireflies
laughs.
crying?
No, like almost like a joyful tear.
Oh, okay.
Like I rarely do.
I love
like,
you, Willem Dafoe.
I don't sad cry very often. It's usually like a happy cry. It's like,
When when Ovechkin won the cup, he was in his room crying into a pillow.
no, I was jacking off. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
I knew we could do it, boys.
All right, next game.
He was doing both.
Ovi.
Oh yeah. Giggity. My next game. This game, I know Adam's not a big fan of it, but for me, this was like art. It wasn't a video game, it was art. The Last of Us. It was... The gameplay wasn't very spectacular.
That's why I hate it.
Yeah, I get that part, but the storyline, was not a typical, like, apocalyptic, dystopian story.
It's very visceral.
It was really well done. Like the beginning wasn't very like it was done to show like the impact of what this guy is, and it showed like the world has gone to shit. Like it wasn't like, no, the world has gone to shit. It was like literally a survival of the fittest, and the character dynamic between the two characters and the building the relationship to become like a father figure to the girl, and this girl was fucking badass. Ellie was just like
she's definitely up there in terms of like the new generation of just awesome women.
Yeah, no, she was just
really. Like this is the thing. I really do not like that game, but I cannot deny what it's done because I know for the general audience that isn't me, it's one of the better games out there, and I can see exactly why. It's just for me, I've always been, if I'm not having fun playing it, I don't care how good the story is. Like a story can only be as strong as the game it's within.
I will say though, it's not just like story wise. Like it was beautifully art direction as well.
Well, yeah, but I mean, anybody can make a good looking game these days.
I'm not saying
but in terms
the
of
games don't have to look pretty. Like
no,
like it helps, but like it's all about like the substance in it. But go ahead.
Well, no, but what I mean is like anybody can make a good looking game, as we've seen. There have been so many games, especially like I don't know, Order 1886, where it looks pretty damn good when it first came out, and then it's just a pile of shit. But I mean,
steaming dumpster fire pile of shit.
And I mean, the same's kind of like obviously Uncharted is a thing that everybody likes too. Uncharted, I'm like, I don't hate nearly as much as I hate Last of Us, just because Last of Us I found like it's supposed to be a game where you're supposed to be tense, and it's the same reason why I have a problem with a lot of Resident Evil games is that the controls are so bad. The tension comes from the fact that you can't shoot as accurately as you should be able to in a game.
Well, the thing is like old Resident Evil. Yes, I'll agree with you.
Well,
but
no, but
yeah, you might like the remake.
Well, yeah, I might like the remake, but I also don't like, getting the shit scared out of me, so...
No, it's not scary at all.
It's not, no. You're...
Well, if I do enough mods so that Mr. X looks like Thomas the Tank Engine, I'm sure I can find ways around
Honestly,
it.
that may actually scare me more. There's something about a train coming at you just slowly that...
There's like a hack to make the Mr. X Pennywise.
No.
So even more terrifying.
I've seen that on YouTube.
I'll get the mod that somebody did that makes Mr. X only wearing a fucking like pink thong or something. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
That actually sounds worse. That sounds worse.
Why is he walking so slow?
Man, you have not seen that six pack, man.
I'm sure he's jacked, but that just.
Oh yeah, he is.
What is happening?
Yeah, it's getting awkward. But I felt that game was like a video game. If there was if you can call, so there was. I remember this one list of, it was a list of actors who turned TV into an art form, and it makes sense. It was people like Donald Glover on Community, Walter White on Breaking Bad, and a few other people that like they turned TV into an art form. Which honestly, I feel like TV is almost an art form now with the new generation of shows.
I feel like the ones that are streamed shows definitely show that even more than especially stupid cable.
But I mean, in terms of the gaming industry, it's become an art form now in this decade specifically, you could say that gaming is now officially an art form. It's been cemented.
For me, that The Last of Us was like the first game I saw that actually made it feel like this is a work of art, not just...
Didn't you just say Heavy Rain was, and Heavy Rain came before it?
Also, yeah, Heavy Rain probably before it. You should play Journey because it's literally... It's just an art.
Well, that's the thing. Even like... the Hollywood and record industry community even said, yeah, no, we can't deny this.
Yeah. Heavy Rain, for me, I thought it was just a very nice looking game. Mm-hmm. Where Last of Us, I felt like it was art. That was really it. And maybe I don't know. That's just my feel about it. My next game, though, this was my favorite of the series, Arkham Knight.
Crap.
I actually loved Arkham Knight.
To piss him off.
I loved Arkham Knight so much I wanted to replace my stupid fucking video card in my computer. I loved it so much.
I was more than willing to lend you my PS4.
Yeah.
I was happy that game came out and at least like took away what Arkham Origins was.
I still haven't played that one.
So
I shouldn't have saved it for last. That's a bad idea.
Arkham Origins had a good story, but gameplay wise, it was definitely
gameplay. Did they change the gameplay?
Yeah, it wasn't Rocksteady that made it.
Oh,
it was significantly weaker.
I love studio and
So with Arkham Knight, again, friends, it's a significantly older game.
Yeah.
And
was it 2015?
14, I think.
Oh wow.
It's been a few years for sure.
Yeah. So I love the internal battle between Joker and Batman. I thought that was like the highlight of the game.
When he would show up at the top of the buildings
out of nowhere and be like,
"Fuck me!"
It scared the shit out of you.
Yeah. Especially if you're playing at 3 a.m.
And I thought it was the first game I saw that everything in the game was a side mission. Even the main story itself was a side. It wasn't like you finish the main story, the game's done.
It was very open world. Yeah.
You had to like complete certain missions to actually complete the game.
Well, yeah, it's not like just go fight this one guy. It's like, no, there are other fucking bad guys running amok. You kind of gotta deal with them. You're Batman.
The cool thing is you wanted to play him because you got to like battle Two-Face and Penguin. You got to battle Harley Quinn. You got to battle Firefly, like Man-Bat.
Firefly. Oh fuck, I hated those.
No, the one that like disturbed the shit out of me the most was the Man-Bat one.
Yeah, that's because it was a jump scare. That was
no. Even the ending when you cured him and he found out he killed his own wife, and he's like disturbed from that. It's like, this is fucked. And
Batman should have just killed him.
And Professor Pig, the one with like,
was that the butcher guy or whatever? Yeah. Holy fuck.
That one. Yeah. That was like the reason Arkham Knight was rated M. And I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I loved the Batmobile. I thought it was fun as shit.
I love driving around and then shooting myself out. And
go ahead, Adam. You want to say something?
Well, no, it's in the same vein of why I like Spider-Man as it is. Like, I would spend all the time just slinging around. I didn't want to get in the Batmobile because I had more fun being in the skyline. Because as you said, like, the game's gorgeous, so I would rather be high up where I can see everything rather than at the road where I just see street light, shitty wall.
I get that. So the next one, this I feel was one of the best fighters ever made. Injustice 2. It was Brittany, is a Justice League fighting game. Have you ever seen it or heard of it or anything?
I've played Injustice 1. I haven't played Injustice
Number 2 was awesome. I feel number 2 is also the graphical pinnacle of gaming.
I still hate that game for that because it made me realize really how bad Mass Effect Andromeda was because they came out right around the same time. And a fighting game should not have amazing facial recognition, like in terms of like movement for graphic fidelity, than a fucking massive RPG.
But what I thought though is with this game, I don't think graphics should get any better, because at a certain point, when is it a video game and when is it like just?
I don't know. We'll see what happens when VR starts getting really good.
Yeah.
When VR starts going like legit 4K, we'll see how we feel about fidelity then.
So the graphical and technical aspects of the game was fucking incredible. The fighting system was really well done this time. Really well done. It was, and Injustice games, like most fighting games, are for people who play fighting games. I know you don't. I don't think you play them.
I want to.
I like old school fighting games.
Yeah, and you like Smash Brothers. Like fighting games are.
Who doesn't like? Yeah. If you don't like Smash Brothers, you don't like
fighting
fun.
game.
Exactly. So fighting games are almost always infinitely replayable, and it was just and also the story mode was so well done, and it was so balanced because it wasn't like the most recent Smash Brothers story mode where you can choose your own character the entire time. It was like you had to play as certain characters.
Yeah, it keeps branching off.
Yeah, and you like one level.
Didn't the original do that too?
Yeah, but this time because the roster was so much bigger and so much prettier as well, like it was just really well done, and it had a much better story as well. So and the cool thing is, there's 2 endings to the story mode as well.
Yeah.
So
it's actually pretty cool for a fighting game.
Yeah. So there's a certain point, it's right at the end, where you can choose between 2 certain characters.
Actually, the Persona fighting games were the best for it. Persona games were great when they did their fighting games because it was almost like it almost played the same way that like a visual novel sometimes does, where depending on what choices you make as the game progresses, you get in certain directions. It is also different based on what character you choose, but there are certain endings that happen because of who you pick and what decisions you make. So I like it when fighting games do that too, because it's just a little more credence than just fight this guy, fight this guy, fight this guy again, fight him. Oh, what's that? You automatically lose this fight. Fight him again though, and then it's like game over. It's like, okay, that's kind of cool.
It was like when the PlayStation 3 first came out, and Mortal Kombat vs. DC came out.
What?
A horrendous video game.
I don't know what we're talking about.
One of the early releases of the PS3. Like it basically had a good idea, but it was just so piss poor done.
Yeah, they tried to make it PG, and it's like Mortal Kombat does not work with PG.
Yeah.
No.
And
do you know they actually used one of the M-rated fatalities in the following game?
Yeah, for Mortal Kombat. Shang Tsung turned into...
There's supposed to be a Joker fatality in the original MK vs. DC, where he shoots a guy.
And the
Shang Tsung uses it and turns into a clown. He doesn't turn into Joker, he just turns into a clown and does the exact thing where he blows the guy's head off.
So it's a typical Joker fatality.
Yeah.
So Joker takes a gun, shoots it, and then the bang fly comes out. He just like starts like...
and then just grabs another gun and blows his face off.
It's the same gun.
Like in Face Off.
Oh, it's the same gun. Like he just shoots it
like,
again.
then
I thought
punches
he
again.
I thought he pulled
bang.
out a second gun.
No, same gun. He takes the gun, shoots it, and actually blows the guy's head away. So they had it in that game we will not speak, in Voldemort. And what they did is they obscured the victim. So they zoomed in on Joker and didn't show the person being shot in the head. That way they were able to get away because it was a PG. It was a.
Yeah, they tried to
How
make,
would they make it PG?
because they figured with the DC license, DC probably had a hand in it.
No,
and said,
that
"Hey,
was
make
it. Was
friendly."
it was because of DC. So any
Stupid DC.
any heroic character like Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, they had what was called a heroic brutality. So they just beat the shit out of the guy,
Yeah, so heroic.
and it was like
Didn't
heroic
one guy literally just constantly pound a guy into the ground? And I'm like, he probably broke everything in his body.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it was Superman.
Yeah, it might have been.
So-
Soups.
Even the Sega Genesis had fucking blood and stuff.
So it was just
Well, remember,
crazy
you got to think of the children. We are in an age we are obviously shooting everybody because we play too many.
Yeah,
video
video
games.
games cause violence. It's true. Look at us. Woo.
even Adam. Good thing Adam Trump isn't here to agree with those idiots.
Yes.
Don't be rude. That's all I
It's
can
not
do
the
for
same.
you.
It's not the same.
That's the same.
I can't move my lips the same way he does when he does the
It
fucking
really
impression.
is just a very excellent fighting game, and again, infinitely replayable. And it just you don't even have to be a fan of the series or a fan of DC to just appreciate this game.
Oh yeah, as a
It's
fighting
that-
game alone, it definitely is worth its weight.
it could be
Or worth its.
It could have been just a standard fighting game with completely branched off with brand new characters. Without the story mode, it would still be an amazing game.
I want to play it. I definitely do.
You don't have a PS4.
No, I don't.
Shit. Okay.
It might be on.
It's on Steam. It could
I'm
be
sure-
$5.
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
I was
that's
gonna
the winter
say,
sale.
I'm sure it's on Steam.
Oh, you know
even if
what?
It wasn't on Steam. I'm
the
sure it's on
complete
Game
edition
Pass
is
or
probably
whatever.
on sale, like dirt cheap right now.
Yeah, probably.
And then
I'm gonna look it up.
This is the most recent game I have played. It was a toss-up between this and Smash Brothers, but this I chose because it literally it blew my mind away.
Call of Duty.
Madden 2020.
Perfect. I knew it.
Okay, so Chris is playing this now because of me. This is the
Wow.
first time he's playing one of these games. It is
Resident Evil 2.
yes, the Resident Evil 2 remake.
This is a big deal for me because I couldn't play any horror game before.
Yes, I know.
This is the first one I'm actually playing through, and like
I'm gonna
after
expand
an hour.
on that when we go to the bar. I was thinking about this the other day. I got a few comments about this.
Yeah,
Yes.
deal.
So with Resident Evil 2, this wasn't just like a remake, remaster. This felt like a brand new game, a brand new entry into the series. So the original Resident Evil 2, my only fault with it is that it still takes place in 1998.
Well, I mean, it's a retelling. It's not. They're not going to change everything around.
They could have done
Well,
it.
yeah, but you already fuck with the story then, because now you got to suddenly make. Oh, well, this game now takes place in like Resident Evil 6 will all of a sudden be like in 2030 for some reason. Like it's
We don't speak of that.
They're keeping it.
We
for
don't speak of that.
Yeah, I know, but they're keeping it for posterity's sake. Like, there's no point in changing the
No,
year.
but if they're going to revamp it, like
Why does the year have to change?
because then you could do a lot more with like having smartphones and like hacking and all that stuff.
Well,
It could
by
be-
playing that game, do you feel like they needed it?
it could have been there. See, the only thing I would say there's certain points in the game where you find VHS cassettes
Yeah.
and play those. And while it's cool that they did the effect and everything, I think it would have been better if they had used it as even a DVD, played it, and actually made it into like a legit cutscene rather than looking at it through a TV.
It probably has a different atmosphere doing it that way because it makes it look creepy because you got the fucking static to it.
Yeah,
So
could
could
be.
So the original game was like, for the longest time until Resident Evil 4 came out, was the greatest in the series. Until this came out. So the cool thing with Resident Evil 1, you're playing the same game, but with Jill or Chris. Chris does have a better game. It's a lot more fun, a lot more challenging. Not our Chris.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, you're in Resident Evil?
Yeah, I'm actually.
He's also
just
in the
living out my
MCU.
royalties right now.
Oh,
He's
okay.
also in the
Good stuff.
MCU as 3 people.
Oh my god, you're
Yeah.
killing it.
I know, right? It's hard being both all Hemsworth and Pratt and Evans. Oh, all in one.
You poor bastard.
Yeah, this guy literally is halfway to being a Marvel character.
Yeah, I just have to send in my resume.
Like, what do I
basically.
get? Brody?
I know, change your name to Chris.
So you're telling me you wouldn't want to be War Machine?
What?
Rhodey?
No, Brody.
Brody.
It's like, what atoms do I have? Brody?
Trump.
No. No.
So with Resident Evil 1, it was the same game, but with 2 different characters. But again, Chris did have a better game than Jill did. With Resident Evil 2, you never played in the Resident Evils, have you?
I like in passing, but I know the stories to all of them.
So with Resident Evil 2, what was cool, it's the same story, but you're seeing 2 different views of it. And this time, it was 2 different games. So in the original Resident Evil 2, Chris and Leon and Claire did, like, their stories did interconnect a few times. So it was like they were almost in the same game, but this time it was completely different. That Mr. X character is way more prominent in Leon's story than he is in Claire's. No, he's still in Claire's, but he's a lot more prominent in Claire's. But in Claire's story, like, there's other characters who are significantly more prominent, and they both have their own uniqueness, their own creepiness to it, and it was really cool. The only with a Resident Evil game, a lot of times you have to go back and forth in a location because you got to get something, then put it away, then go back, and then like there's a lot of like sidetracking in the game to progress further. And this one, it was just so well done, looked so beautiful, and
it looks amazing.
Like it's brutal. Like it's got such a creepy atmosphere to it, and also you can move while aiming.
I know, it's such a revolutionary tactic.
Yeah, I know, right?
So
fucking games from 1998.
I can't wait till the Resident Evil 3 remake comes out, because they're saying that while this one was similar, but they did make changes to this one as opposed to the original Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 is going to be way more different than the original game.
Yeah, they said it's going to be more action oriented, I think.
Well, I think
it's going to have to be, because you ain't fighting Nemesis with the survival aspect anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, with and even that one other cool thing with this one, each character has different weapons, so you don't really have the same weapons for one character as you do with another.
As long as Jill's going to have infinite rocket launchers in 3, we're good.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
That's how a lot of people had to kill Nemesis with that game back in the day.
Cheat codes?
Yes.
No, like just getting rocket launchers. Like you would find one and you just stock it because you had to hope to God you had it.
Yeah. You just have to like keep it with you at all times, just in case. Be like, stars, like bang. Okay, we're good.
I love that for Resident Evil 3, they actually had it where they showed the trailer, and it's like there's only 4 months until it's out, instead of showing a trailer 4 years ago, and we're all wondering when it's coming out.
Well, they're going to.
Elder Scrolls 6.
Fuck. And New Mutants.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Kingdom Hearts 3,
Final Fantasy
Square
15.
Games in general.
Okay, those are actually coming. New Mutants, we're never going to see a light of day.
Yeah, New Mutants
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, so Resident Evil 3, I love that it just was like, here's the trailer, and it's coming out. And
Yeah.
that Resident Evil Resistance, that like 4-player Left 4 Dead, that's inside Resident Evil 3. It's like the multiplayer mode.
So so
we're all playing that.
But
that's what I'm saying.
We are,
Yeah.
but
I
I'm gonna wait till Black Friday to buy it, because I just don't want to spend $80.
I have 400 games in my backlog, so I'm not
in a rush.
You're
I'm
like,
not buying
I'll
cheap.
find time.
I still like
Fine.
right now. I think this list will change eventually, because I still haven't finished God of War or Metal Gear Solid, so 5. So I think those will end up being on the list eventually. But right now, and I also Adam, I'm gonna hide my Master Sword that I have here. I haven't played much of Horizon Zero Dawn either.
That's okay, I'll talk about it myself.
Okay.
I figured it was on Adam's list.
What? No, I never talked a lot about that game.
A special mention: the Tomb Raider trilogy.
Breaking all the rules again as per usual.
That's a good
Special
trilogy, though. I did love those Tomb Raider games.
Yes, but I don't know how they got cut, but they had to get cut.
That's the problem. We only have 5. Because, it's been an hour already, and it's now on to me. So it made sense.
Yes.
This guy we were talking about is like, oh, come on, we got to be able to do at least 7. I'm like, I guarantee you each of us is going to take half an hour to do through our stuff. Yeah. And I'm almost dead on the money. It's 58 minutes and a half.
And Brittany hasn't even said one game yet.
I did not compile a list for this podcast, only the movie.
Do you have a game that was like special to you in this past decade?
Well, if I have to pick one, I'm going to pick Smash Bros, obviously.
Which one? The Wii U one or this one?
I I think I like the most recent one just because there's so many players to pick from, and it made it exciting. Because then I feel like the best moment in Smash Bros is that moment when that like when you're gonna unlock.
Yeah, when you're
somebody,
gonna unlock somebody.
Yes,
Yeah, it's like crack.
You're like,
Yeah.
And then it's like you play more to get more
it
crack.
really is like
and
crack.
Like for hours, like
Yeah.
who can I get next?
And this one just keeps going. There's
What
like
I-
80-something characters.
And having Ken and Ryu now this time, that was fucking awesome. Ken is better than Ryu, for the record.
Oh, wow.
how about the fans are the best for it? Actually, that's not true. Let's be honest. Fans suck. So, I guess I'll kick off my list. So this is actually in order from 5th to 1st.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, damn.
So
Countdown.
number 5, and this is from the entire decade, is the only one from this year, which is Kingdom Hearts 3. And this is there are so many games to push to the side. Like this is a great, like, as a lot of people said, it's been a slow decade. I tend to disagree. I think this decade has been one of the best we've ever seen because the sheer variety of stuff. Because we've already heard MMOs being back in style with 14, and Phantasy Star Online 2 will hopefully continue that trend next year.
I would say the slowness is about the releases, I feel.
I don't know.
I don't think that's
shit
true.
Ton of
Because
games.
you were just
trilogies
talking about,
and-
like, with Final Fantasy 7 and with Kingdom Hearts 3, that they took fucking forever.
Yeah, but there's also been like so many more companies now that there's other things to go. Like as a JRPG guy alone, Atlas being so big in the game again has changed that. And then there's also games like the Trails in the Sky series. You know,
Yes,
there's so much else out there. And I mean, when you have Steam, you have 3 different consoles. You still have handhelds. Mobile games have their place now.
Yeah.
There's so much. So I think really a lot of people have said it's slow. I think it's the opposite. I think this has been the best year for gaming. Because if you are a fan of anything, something in the last 10 years blew you away.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no way that they didn't.
I was surprised
Whereas
with some things I saw. That
The
came
previous
out
10
as-
years that we had games, like the 2000s, I guarantee you, if you were a fan of a certain genre, you might have missed out. Because
Yeah.
there might just not have been anything for you.
I don't know. Maybe because I had more time, but I think the previous decade I may have enjoyed gaming more, but that's probably
If
because of
I'm
time.
being completely
It's
honest,
probably
if
time,
I had
yeah.
to compile a list in the 2000s and just look at my PlayStation 2 library, there's a lot of games that I would be really high on, but they're all one genre. Like, they're all RPGs.
I had a lot of games that I loved in that decade.
And it doesn't have anything to do with where I was as a person. It's just at that time, certain genres of games just weren't being given any real attention.
Yeah.
It was basically just adventure games, shooters, and RPGs. That was it. Like, there just wasn't anything. There weren't all these new genres that we found over time. Obviously, the Battle Royales hadn't happened yet. All these really crazy survival games hadn't really
The
happened yet.
indie scene was
Yeah,
not
there's
much.
so much. Like, all your Shovel Knights, all your Super Meat Boys, your
It was
Portals,
the,
all these games weren't
It was the
happening yet.
PS3, Xbox 360 generation that really pushed out the online play.
And that's the thing, is
Yeah.
once we really started evolving, that's when we had so much.
again,
open up. Now we have Death Stranding, which I don't think anybody still knows what the fuck it is. It's the spooky pizza delivery genre.
I think I think also maybe because I don't play online, that you may have found this generation better. Where like again,
You are a nostalgia guy, though. That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
You are a very nostalgic person. So I think for you, I could see you obviously looking back and still preferring the Super Nintendo era.
Oh, the 90s is to
a
me
lot
even
more.
the best decade of gaming.
I still think for me it's possibly the 2000s because again, the time and just maybe even the quality. I would say like where that generation was focused more on gameplay. Like
Sure, but I mean,
God of War
again,
and all that started there, and that was like
But I'm going back and thinking in my head, and I don't want to spend too much time on this because
sorry.
you know, but I remember growing up that there weren't like a massive list of games everybody was playing. You basically were playing one of 5 things, and if you weren't playing one of those 5 things, like if you weren't playing Pokemon when that came out, you were a loser. If you weren't playing Halo when it came out, you were a loser. If you weren't playing GoldenEye.
And if you were playing Pokemon, you were probably a loser.
yes.
But what I mean by that is like
I'm
straight
not a
up,
GoldenEye fan.
there wasn't like people weren't like, obviously I know it's kind of an oxymoron because today if you're not playing Fortnite, like you're basically alienating half the gaming population right now.
Good.
But, well, yeah, which is good because that's the half of the population we don't really want to be a part of.
This reminds me of a meme I saw. It was, dear people from high school, I could have told you about Marvel, but no, you wanted to date, party, and do stuff. Everybody's like, I could have told you about Pokemon, but no, you wanted to date, party, and do stuff.
But I mean, the way that to go back to it is like when we talk about games at the bar, are we really sticking to like 2 things? No. And if we were playing in the PS2 era, even like the PlayStation 1 and 64 era, you're talking like 3 games.
I feel like this is going to be a topic of our favorite games of the 2000s.
Well, we're not going to do that. 'Cause
Not tonight.
No, we're not going to do that. Probably not do that, period, because there's no way I'm going to be able to pull that out of my ass again.
Top 10.
Okay, well, maybe. Fuck it. That's another conversation. But going all the way back,
A whole
Kingdom
other
Hearts
podcast.
3.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
You were waiting for that for a long fucking time.
I mean, speaking of nostalgia, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, that was a game that was a long
Almost
time
15
coming.
years.
Yeah.
Almost 15 years.
More
and
than
I'm
a
not
decade.
like
2004 or
That was
I
Kingdom Hearts
think no,
2.
I think 2005, 2006. I was in second year college.
Let's see. KH2. Come on, Google. Work faster for me here.
Okay, Google. When
No,
did Kingdom
don't.
Hearts 2
You are
come
not.
out?
Fucking stop talking to Google Home during
Leave
the podcast.
Google out of it!
Hey, Google, shut the fuck up.
2005.
Okay, so yeah, almost.
So basically almost 15 years. And I don't count the side Kingdom Hearts games because most of them have nothing to do with the main storyline, so who cares?
Is there a main storyline?
Yes. It's convoluted as fuck, but yes, there is a main storyline. I never played any of these side games. Like, I tried to play Birth by Sleep, which is on the PSP, but I just couldn't. And it's also because I don't have a big fondness for handhelds, so that's a different story, but like... 358 under 2 days, didn't play that.
Is that how you pronounce that one?
Yeah, 358 under 2 days.
I always said divided by 2.
It's not 358 half days.
Wait, that was the name of the
It was written
game.
up as 358/2. So
I thought it was actual math.
There were so many different pronunciations to it, but it is 358 under 2.
That's the name of the game.
Yes.
I just called it 179.
I need to tell you what the official title of the Kingdom Hearts 2.8 is called.
What the fuck?
These names got ridiculous.
And
Kingdom
it
Hearts
is-
was just called
it
Kingdom
is
Hearts.
Yeah, that makes
so
more
this
sense.
was it was like this big collection of almost everything. It is called Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue.
What?
Not confusing at all. Not rage.
If there was
inducing.
That's not even one game. That was a collection of games that all had fucked up
If you
names.
think the Kingdom Hearts storyline is convoluted, just wait till you see
Not
the names of the
ra-
games.
not
Also, Square, if
raging-
you're listening, can you put these on PC, please? Thank you. Bye.
not rage inducing and confusing at all.
No. But like I said, I had the game pre-ordered. I want to say
2010.
4.5, 5 years ago when it was announced
What?
a long time before.
What? Where did you
Because-
pre-order it?
Amazon.
Of course.
Because
Of course, Amazon.
They've talked about this game for a long time.
Was
so
there a deposit in there the whole time?
It was paid for. So it had been paid for 5 years ago.
I mean, that's pretty nice though. Once it does release and it's paid for, and it
Goddamn
just
right it
shows
was.
up.
I mean, I got a deal for it too. It was one of those things where if you pre-order 2 or more games, you get like 30% off of everything.
Interesting.
So it was a good
He
deal.
had to
Chris,
wait
no,
5
Chris,
years.
no.
He had to wait 5 years for the
And
discount.
because of the wait, I think a lot of people did overhype a lot out of it. I mean, it's the same way of like so many when GoldenEye got remade and everybody was like, "Oh shit,
yeah.
GoldenEye's back," or when Halo came back onto
But
console, and everybody takes the sense of, or even with Mass Effect Andromeda, which turned out to be a bust.
And what about Madden?
No one fucking cares about that.
No,
There's no hype.
no hype
It's-
for Madden.
It's just Budweiser level drunken hype.
You ever been just standing somewhere and someone's like, "Yo, did you see the new trailer for the new Madden?" That doesn't happen.
Well, that's because we don't have those friends.
Do people have those friends? Where are they?
Oh, I guarantee you they do.
They're
They
in the
just-
States.
Bro guy.
They,
America!
they don't talk
Fuck
to
yeah.
us. We are too common for them.
That's because we're like, "Yo, did you see the new Pokemon trailer?" They're like,
Detective Pikachu? Yeah. It
But
was
a lot-
fucking awesome.
A lot of people really overhype Kingdom Hearts 3 because,
Did
again,
you watch it yet?
15 years, it's a
The Bulbasaur scene? I'm like,
final
"Yeah."
chapter to the series. I mean, it's not. It's going to keep going. But it was a long wait for a storyline that had not been finished in almost 15 years. And I think a lot of people took that as, it better be the best thing ever or it sucks. And a lot of people treated it like that. I mean, I've seen a lot of people say, well, the story's confusing. I'm like, that's every Kingdom Hearts game. What's your fucking
they've
problem?
clearly never played any of the other ones.
The only complaint that I can give people is that there's no Final Fantasy characters in the game. Now, apparently in the DLC coming soon, there will be.
Yeah.
will that expand the story? Or
Yeah, it's more like an extra piece to it now. But I'll probably end up waiting until it's on sale.
How many
I
hours
don't
did you put
need
into
play
it to finish
When
it?
I finished 3, I felt like I was happy with that ending. I got what I wanted.
How many hours did you have into it?
I want to say about 60.
No.
Is it?
How long did it take you to finish it? I think you played like for 2 weeks or 3 weeks only.
No, I definitely didn't spend that much. Like, it was a lot longer.
Oh.
It would have been like a couple of months because that's just how long it takes
okay.
me because I obviously work. But
Was this game like the final chapter, final game of the Kingdom Hearts story?
No,
Oh,
it
for
definitely will
fuck's
not
sake.
be. It definitely will not be.
So by the
But it
time
was-
Adam's 50, the fourth one will
It
come
did finalize the story that they've been working on and for these entire
Imagine it
like,
ended on a cliffhanger. Kingdom
I
Hearts
mean,
4,
the final
coming
boss,
in 15 years.
Okay, I mean, I'll give you
They
this:
did
the
that to
final
Daybreak.
boss battle takes place on a cliff.
Oh.
Is Kingdom Hearts the one that's like incorporated with Disney?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw it and I was like, oh, I really want to play it. And then I was watching. Have you seen girlfriend reviews on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
love
was
those.
watching her talk about it, and it just sounds so confusing. I was like, never mind, I'll never be able to
And
do it.
here's what I tell most people: you can still get a lot of enjoyment out of it it's just when you get to the end where it goes away from the Disney part of it, it does get confusing. But if you just want to play and have nostalgia, like when I played the Toy Story World and started there, I stopped and just put my controller down and just, because I had my headphones on too, so it's blasting, and I'm just hearing an orchestrated version of You Got a Friend in Me. And I just put my controller down and just sat there, and I just had the biggest fucking smile on my face because I felt like I was a kid again.
And you beat it.
And the graphics are done so well in that series. Like, it looks like the movies. Like, it looks exactly like Toy Story in HD. It looks like Frozen in HD. It looks like Monsters, Inc. in HD.
It probably looks better than Toy Story 1.
Yeah, it probably does. And that kind of stuff is what brings me in. And that's why I say, like, people say, oh, you can't play Kingdom Hearts if you're new to the series. It's like, no, you can. Just go in thinking that once you're past the Disney stuff, yeah, you might forget a few things. But playing the Disney levels as themselves, they're fucking great.
Only the original reboot cartoon doesn't look better than Toy Story 1.
Oh, reboot. Oh, I both love and hate.
But yeah, no, like, wait for a game waiting for 15 years.
Wow.
Like, legit, I got everything I wanted out of it. And people who decided to really shit all over it, I think they were looking for an 11 out of 10 game. Because again, if you wait for something long enough, you just assume, like, it's like Duke Nukem Forever. You figure it's been so long, it's got to be good. And
they put 15 years worth of work into it. It
well,
must
actually,
be perfect.
even with movies, like when Toy Story 3 came out, it was almost 10 years after the original movie came out. So I'm like, this better be fucking like legendary.
Yeah.
In all fairness,
it was.
It's pretty good.
And obviously, we'll get to that when we talk about the films. But
yes.
Yeah, like, for a game to actually be one of the very few cases in the last little while that I've been able to go back and be like what I was when I was a teenager playing the original 2 games on PlayStation 2, it's not a feeling you have very often. Because generally speaking, when you have fond memories of growing up, they're either like painful memories, or they're memories of like you and your friends. Like, you don't think about just you sitting alone and just enjoying something like that. So it wasn't a feeling that I used to have, and to have that experience for the first time in such a long time was such a cool thing. And it's why it isn't higher up on the list. Because as a game, is it amazing? No, I mean, but it's there because it's great nostalgic value. It's a game where you just hit square to just beat the shit out of things, so it's fun. But as a game, like, for a game that took that long to come out, I didn't leave being like, well, geez, that's what I waited for. No, it was like, thank God, finally.
You were satisfied.
Yeah.
You weren't mind blown, but you were satisfied.
Yeah, I got exactly what I wanted, and to me, I can't ask for much more than that. I wasn't expecting Game of the Year because it's never been. It
never was. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1 was amazing, but it wasn't Game of the Year.
No, it was just a game where you get to beat the shit out of Clayton from Tarzan.
That was great.
He was a bad man.
He was.
You didn't hang him though. That was disappointing. But then again, it is a kid's game.
This is true.
They showed us solo of his like hanging corpse though.
Well, yeah, but not in the game. The game, you just beat him and he just disappears.
Yeah.
Number 4. This is, again, very sentimental value, and also, hell, even today I still use it for the exact same reason. Minecraft. And we had this conversation on a podcast that is never coming up because shit broke.
Yep.
But Minecraft for me has been an unbelievable blessing. I call it my rehab game whenever I need to, like, just relax. Because growing up, you know, obviously, like, gaming was my escape. And
speaking to the choir, man.
Yeah,
preaching to the choir, I mean.
No kidding. But around college, where I had a really bad, almost as what you would consider gaming addiction to be today, where I'd play the shit out of EA's NHL series because that's when they were still half decent. And I would play them online all the time and take them really seriously and competitively, and I'd get upset so often. And it finally got to a point that we like a bunch of friends that I played with it.
People get upset playing sports games?
No, impossible.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, a bunch of us just kind of got a little bit annoyed with the game. We're like, you know what? We need something different to do. And Minecraft just finally got launched on consoles. And we're just like, well, fuck it. It's a chill game. Let's do that. We didn't play NHL ever again after that. Because even to this day, I don't use it as, like, a game. It's not really a game for me. It's more a social interaction. Because often when I play, it's just a bunch of us shooting the shit, and we're just happening to build really stupid-looking houses.
Yeah.
You know? Obviously on PC, there's a lot of mods. Like, you can play the Pokemon mod for Minecraft, where there's a legit Pokemon game in Minecraft.
Huh. Mm-hmm. It's like, do they have, like, blocky Pikachu and shit like that?
Yeah. Legit.
How horrendous does it look?
It's actually kind of adorable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, they do a very good job with these things. Like the mod scene is unbelievable for it. But I mean, for us, it was just you go on and we just talk for 3-4 hours, and if we happen to build something half decent by the end of it, cool. Otherwise, who gives a shit?
That Pokemon version of Minecraft is actually on the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes home.
Well, of course. Well,
Goes home.
Nintendo understood.
On Amazon.
No, I'd just go right to the eShop. Oh my god, it's a winter sale. I gotta go.
But yeah, no, like as I've said to so many people, like especially now because it's so easy to get and it's on everything. If there is ever a game that you just need just to relax, like it's great for that.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of it on Twitch, and I listen to the music. It's so relaxing.
Yeah. Number 3, this is where we can finally talk about the best superhero game ever made, Superman 64.
Gotta fly through those rings, bro.
Adam,
through those rings.
Adam.
Sorry, you're right.
Mortal Kombat vs. DC.
Green Lantern.
Oh.
That wasn't even a game.
Oh,
there's a Green Lantern game.
Oh, that's gotta
Is
be
there?
bad. That's
Oh,
gotta be
yeah.
bad. It's gotta be bad.
Have you played it?
Nope.
Yeah, no.
What system is it on?
I think it was the 360 PS3 era. All right, fine.
That's good. That's it.
Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Honestly, just this. Like I leave it on my list because I knew he was gonna bring it. But
This is going to be the one that we aren't talking spoilers because it is recent enough that we should avoid it.
And I haven't beaten it yet.
like this was like actually like you were actually like Spider-Man, like legitimately Spider-Man, and Peter Parker. Like you were legitimately playing as like if it wasn't just like a lot of superhero games, you play as the character, and it's just like web, punch. Like you were actually like, and the dialogue was great.
Well, in all honesty,
like,
you're
the
basically
one-liners.
playing a video game that's like a film. It basically was a video game film.
Yeah. It was.
You could say it was a 40 to 50 hour film.
And honestly, if you took out the side missions,
Nope,
like the main,
I wouldn't.
No, but I'm just saying in general, if you took out side missions, you could actually make that into a movie. With
Yeah, you could
main
definitely take
story-
that story and make it into
with the
a
main
film.
story elements. You could actually make it into a legitimate like 2.5 hour movie, and it was just so well done. And it even like showed like because, for example, like Norman Osborn, he doesn't have to be Green Lantern to be an evil bastard.
He's basically a politician bastard.
Yeah, he is like the typical evil businessman.
Yep.
He's
He's the mayor in that game. So
Yeah.
So it's more like the politics part of it than this time.
no, but even then, like when he was running Oscorp, he does shady shit. He like does like he's just an evil fucking dude. He doesn't have to be Green Goblin to be a bad guy. He's just a bad guy in general.
But most
He just-
importantly, he doesn't hold a candle to the greatest character of all in that game, Alex Jones, J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, he was so fucking hilarious. He's running a podcast in it, and as you're swinging around, Peter listens to the podcast, and
Because why not?
yeah, and it's hilarious. He's like, Spider-Man's a menace, and then this one episode, he's like, do me a favor, you're fired. Come back so I can fire you again. Like he basically fired the guy, hired him so he could fire him again, and
There's a
then hired
point
him back.
in the game, and Vishal hates this mission where it's you're trying to catch pigeons,
Okay.
and
I just didn't do it because at that point I was almost done the game.
yeah,
So, just
that's because you're a quitter.
No.
You finished 80%, right? That's your goal?
Quitter.
80% is usually my go-to.
If you're
But
not
like-
first, you're last.
But like during this, like once you finish this mission, because as you keep progressing through the game, you'll get more of these Jameson clips where he talks about what you've been doing, and he talks like, reports have been saying Spider-Man has been out there mingling with pigeons. Now I don't know what he's doing, but I think they're doing something with the shit, and they're trying to like he just turns into like Alex Jones. They're turning the water to make the frogs gay.
Yeah.
Like he goes that level on it about
He says
pigeons and
shit?
Spider-Man. Yeah, I think he talks about like pigeon shit and stuff, and it's so funny. Because you're literally getting like a fictional representation of Alex Jones, and
Also,
it's so
like,
goddamn funny.
One cool, like you got to play as multiple characters, not just Spider-Man, Peter Parker. You play as Miles Morales, but not even Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like you played as Miles Morales.
You really, I mean, you can say you play as multiple characters, but for the most part, like Miles Morales, you play him, but you're just moving. Like
Whoa,
there's
is
not
this
a
a
whole lot.
spoiler?
No.
Are you guys giving
not
it
really.
away?
But
you
Mary
just go to
Jane,
class and you actually have to do homework. It's crazy.
Mary
We're not playing
Jane
Persona.
was awesome in this game.
I actually disagree. I don't like Mary Jane.
Really?
Like, If you want to talk in the sense of, I'm glad that they made her into not a damsel anymore, but I don't like her design and I don't like the attitude she gave. Like, I feel like she was being more of like
A bitch?
like no, she was being more of like, she was trying a little bit too hard to be like the I can do shit myself, and it's like, no, you're literally walking into a room full of armed guards. No, you should not do that.
You know Spider-Man. He can help you.
Like she's not being a damsel, but she's more just being an idiot and getting herself into trouble, knowing she's probably gonna get shot if she does this. So, like, to me, I think there were parts that she could have made work, but I think they tried a little too hard to push her as a central character. And I'm like, guys, like, you gotta ease it in. Like, if you're gonna do that, you shouldn't be doing it at the risk of making her look like a blithering idiot. Because the situation she puts herself into, any logical person would know better than not to. And she's supposed to just be a journalist in this game.
Also, like, the central villain,
Talking Mr. Negative?
Yeah, he was, you actually, like, you understood why he became this way. And it's like the whole thing is like, yeah, you're a bad guy, but you know what?
You're a bad guy, but that does not make you a bad guy.
Like, it just was such a well done game, and also the ending is absolutely fucking so.
No spoilers.
And that's the beauty of it. Like, I've said it as delicately as I can whenever we talk about it with Chris. It's like the game does. Like, basically the writers of this game go out there and say, look, you've seen what we've done with the cartoons, the comics, the movies now that we've seen, especially the new ones. We're going to have our own story, and we're willing to do things that no one would have the balls to do. And the first game goes out of its way at the end to show you, we're not fucking around. This is our story, and you're going to see shit you're not used to seeing.
So, there's a lot of nowadays a lot of Spider-Man animated stuff is showing that Venom is not an alien. Venom was an experiment that went bad, and actually Peter Parker was part of that experiment. So there's a Spider-Man a Spider-Man cartoon on Disney Plus, the most recent one, where they showed like Spider-Man having the symbiote costume, but he was part of creating it. And
I like that better.
I don't know. I would rather be the alien thing because it's more or it's got some mystique to it. Whereas, like, if it's just another failed experiment, like to me, the failed experiment trope is a little too weird. Like, that's like almost every supervillain.
It is. The entire Spider-Man universe is based on scientific experiments that go wrong.
Yeah.
How many fucking experiments are you people working on? And why do you turn evil right after?
And the Rhino, the Rhino was a Russian thug again in this one.
Yeah.
The Rhino boss battles are fun too.
Yeah.
Like, the boss battles too, they have their own quirks to it as well. Like, it's not just punch, punch, punch. There is a little bit of a gimmick. Like, the Rhino one, I can spoil this because it's not a big deal. The Rhino one, you have to constantly keep making him run into stuff and, like dropping shit on him.
Oh.
Like, you have to keep, like, making him fall into traps and stuff. It's almost like what Batman would do with, like, certain bosses. Like, even the Mr. Freeze boss, where you have to, like, do several different things. It's kind of the same way, because if you just try to hit Rhino head on, he'll just fuck you up.
Yeah, Spider-Man would just die.
Yeah, it's, and the cinematics were just amazingly.
Was Rhino in this game the stupid, like, robotic suit?
No,
or was
it was like...
Or did he actually have super strength himself?
Because Peter Parker is, like, being quippy, he's just calling him stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
But it was more just like this. I think it's the suit that just gives him.
It's a suit. It was like the
vintage
he's Rhino. It wasn't like robotic or mutated Rhino.
No, because remember the Amazing Spider-Man 2, where it was just this armor suit he put on. He was like, I am Rhino now.
We don't.
No, I mean he's still jacked to the gills, but I mean the suit's also helping it.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's a mechanical suit, but it was not like it was like skin almost like vintage Rhino from the.
It's not like Justin from Power Rangers Turbo, where putting on the suit makes you grow into a full-fledged human. Yeah, that's a thing. One of the Blue Ranger in the third season of, well, I guess technically it's not the third season of Power Rangers. It's technically the fifth.
The kid.
Oh yeah. Because
the Mighty Morphin series is actually 3 seasons.
Yeah.
But the third series of Power Rangers, they have a child that ends up growing into a full human when he transforms to a Power Ranger.
That's stupid. That's
so stupid. Because
it's honestly
Power Rangers.
They did have the hottest villain though.
I don't.
Divatox.
I don't. I must see.
Well, I guess I'm Googling that.
Why don't we do that in the intermission?
In the meantime, my second favorite game is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Nice.
Speaking of lovely ladies,
Aloy is an awesome
Quite
character.
frankly, Aloy in Horizon is, in my opinion, the best female character I've ever played in gaming.
This comes to PS Now in like 5 days.
Yep, that it does.
It's so for me, like, I played a little bit of it. I haven't played enough, unfortunately, because Resident Evil 2 came and then Smash Brothers came, and those were quick games. Resident Evil 2, I finished both story modes in less than 20 hours. With Smash Brothers, the problem with Smash Brothers, you want all the characters, so you have to do the story mode to get all the characters.
You don't have to. You can just play random battles, and
This is a quicker.
it's not quicker.
But
Yeah, I think
That's
it
Diva
was
Talks, by the
technically
way.
quicker if you just played random
Oh,
battles
God
after.
damn it.
and-
Yeah.
That's a Power Rangers villain.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm on board.
Yes,
Take
Brett.
over. Take over the world.
it's Aloy's a real the
She
artwork in this game is fucking incredible. It's,
Yeah, no. If you
It's-
want to talk about good art, that game, it has that in spades.
I haven't played much of it again, but the environment looks massive.
That game is the reason why photo mode has become so popular now. Like,
I
that
love
game
photo
is
mode.
really the one that got people going crazy with photo modes.
Yeah, I use that a lot in Odyssey.
Now even Red Dead has one now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red Dead 2 finally got one.
I think it'd be cool to have it if you had like an open world Pokemon game where the Pokemon just like pop up randomly.
Yeah, that would be great if they made a proper open world Pokemon game.
It'll be the next one.
It's not like everybody kept saying after Breath of the Wild came out, hey Nintendo, can you do that? Like, please?
So that's the only reason I haven't bought the Pokemon games for the Switch is because apparently they're like vintage Pokemon where it's like turn based and they don't really actually.
Well, that's what
interact.
Pokemon kind of should be.
Yeah. They'd still make it turn-based, but they
I
could
could
make
never
it...
imagine Pokemon being like a beat 'em up or anything like that.
No, I think it would be
kind
kind of cool if they did it differently where they
Well,
had
they've
the
done
battles.
it before. They had
no,
they had Pokken Tournament.
No, they
They had
did
the
the
fighting
battles like Smash Brothers.
No, because
Yeah,
there's no way you
I
can
don't know.
have that level of a fighting system and then still have this massive RPG. It probably wouldn't be able to fit.
Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee was good because it had the Pokemon Go thing where it was just a circle and you had to throw the ball at the Pokemon. And you didn't have to battle them.
But anyways,
In that sense, but you did do battles, but that's not how you caught
But
them.
anyways, Pokemon's not on my list, so fuck that game.
Sorry.
Horizon is one of those games that I wasn't sure to think, because when we saw the trailer at E3, I thought
It looked cool,
that
but it's
looks
just like-
really fucking cool. But my brain's like, oh, new IP, crazy cool looking thing. They usually fuck it up the first try. So I'm thinking, I'll get to it at some point. And then finally I got it. First time I played it, I liked the world, I liked the story, but the gameplay was just fucking irritating. Because it's stealth, and at the same time, it's a lot of meticulous
Beat 'em
planning.
up.
It's the same reason why I really had struggled with The Witcher, the first two games, because there's too much work you had to put into killing one enemy, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I want to enjoy the story, and I can't do it. What are you doing? I don't
There's
know.
the thing with
If
The
you
Witcher.
have a bit, fucking say the bit.
Okay, there's the thing with The Witcher right now with the show on Netflix where
that
he just
Geralt
goes saying,
goes,
You do understand if you want to make a bit, you probably should check that everybody knows what the bit is.
So
I
I
know
know
now.
they've
I
I've
seen it.
seen the
Yeah.
show. It's so good.
It's so good.
Okay, I have to interrupt because my ride is outside to go to the gym. I'm becoming Fit Brit.
Okay.
Oh, fit Brit, bitch.
So
Say, hey,
goodbye,
I gave you
friends.
that gimmick, so so I want royalty checks.
Okay.
Okay.
Squeeze out.
But anyways, going back to Horizon, like that game, when I first played it, I loved it. I loved the story, but the problem is playing it on normal, like I struggled because I would try to do all this meticulous planning to kill the thing.
It's like I said, it's like playing a game on normal is just a waste of time. No, just play on
That's not
easy.
true. There are some games where it can work, but in this case, I think just because everything is such a sponge for health that you can't kill it in one shot. And the problem is when everything's in groups, it's really hard, and I panic too easy in that scenario. So finally, I put it down for a while. I can't even remember what I replaced it with, but then I found out that they added a story mode difficulty, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's my jam. I think it ups your damage by like 300%, and you take like only 10% damage. So that's really helpful. And if you just want to breeze through the story, that's a perfect way to play it, because you one-shot most of the small enemies, and then when it comes... don't worry about the mic. I've already muted
Oh,
it.
okay.
Brittany's mic was not going to interfere. But yeah, no, the story mode, you can... most things you'll one-shot, and then the bigger enemies you will... Like, it's a couple of hits. But, like, you can do the meticulous planning, hit the weak points, and then just charge in and finish it off. And I like that, because it gives me the opportunity to at least enjoy the world. Because I loved exploring it. It's one of the very few games that I straight up... Like, I'm not touching the story till I finish the map. So there were points where I found all the dungeons in the game that I hadn't had access to yet. So a second they're like, oh, we're going here. I'm like, I know exactly what that is. I don't need a map marker.
It's so weird. Like sometimes like you figure out like exactly where to go in such a huge open world game. After all, it's like Oh, I need to go there. Oh, I need to go there. Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, like as a character, Aloy is
Awesome.
this perfect blend of she's a badass, but she's also not. They're not doing it over the top either. Like she's not going around like screaming at everything. She's not doing a bunch of stuff that just is so cliche. Like she's just doing her thing. She's slowly getting better and better as a hunter, and then over time, she ends up being the one that has. She ends up just being this person that seems to have the key to all this information from back in the day. Basically, the game, and if you want to call it a spoiler, I don't really think it is. Like basically, the game is you after a massive apocalyptic scenario where humanity is basically wiped out and civilization's restarted. You're basically like back in like the native days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
I
gave
love
that
when they do
feel.
that.
the entire game is basically you dealing with a faction war in this world while learning about what happens to the society before. Because it's very obvious this is our society that crumbled. Because a lot of the buildings are ruins of like skyscrapers. So there are points where you'll be climbing these things and seeing like just what civilization was, and that's what I think I really like about that game is it makes, like quite honestly, the ugly world that we live in today of just endless skyscrapers that look the same, and they put it into this world where everything is so much more colorful, all this like grass and tree lines on that's grown, and then robot fucking dinosaurs.
Yes, that was like the cool. It just
Like Vishal must have had like the
characters.
biggest metal hard-on thinking Jurassic Park but with robots.
I mean, that's why I want to play it.
no, it just like again like I saw these characters and I was just like, it just robbed my interest. Right, I was like, how did this happen? What the fuck are these? And like, how do you fight them?
And I'll
like,
give them props. They also didn't go the fan service route. Like, there's only one costume that you see midriff on her. So, like, the most you'll get is this. It's just you'll get some belly.
They did that with Tomb Raider too, but not even that much.
Yeah, but she's also still wearing tight clothes, so you're still seeing boobs. Like, Aloy, I have no idea what cup she is. Because most of her outfits are very loose. Like, they're full of, like, furs and stuff. So
armored
everything's
as well. So.
Yeah, so you don't... It's
Which would
not
make
trying,
sense in that situation.
and even in the sense, there's no costume that she has that, like, since it's third person, you're not going to be staring at her ass. Like, you're going to be staring at what's in front of you, because they've done a very good job of not making her, like, automatically where your eyes divert to.
You see Claire's ass very well in Resident Evil 2.
Okay, I gotta go.
And that's the thing too, right? Like, it's the running joke. I used to say, if I'm going to play a third person game, I'm going to play a girl more often than not, because at least they try to make the girls' butts look good.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to stare at an ass for 60 hours, I will at least want it to be one I like.
Yeah, that's true.
But in the case of Horizon, they do a fantastic job, and that's why the art style shines so well, is because you're not paying attention to the character, you're looking at the world in front of you.
It was something that really...
And Keith David's in the game too, so I mean, come on.
Goliath is in the game?
No, like Keith David.
Keith David was the voice of Goliath in Gargoyles too.
Oh, dude, like, you can't just throw a random one like that.
Goliath is like, oh god, man.
Keith David. That's all I need to say.
Goliath.
Keith fucking David.
Go fucking Goliath.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck
I'm
you.
just watching this transpire, and I don't know who's going to win because neither of you will back down.
Well,
Chris, do not throw the sword between us.
I still have one more game left, so I win.
Go on.
This-
Madden.
Oh, I can't guess.
No, it definitely is not Madden.
NHL.
This game, surprisingly enough, because I completely forgot that it was
I don't know
the
which
beginning
one
of
this one
the
is.
decade. March of 2020. Or 2010. Jesus.
2010. Wrong decade.
I mean, March of 2020 is going to be a good fucking
It's
month.
going to be, yeah.
The only
It's
one
gonna
I
be
can think
overwhelming.
of that I
couldn't
know
even
you...
pick up everything.
Dead
Good
Rising
lord.
2?
No, not Dead Rising.
That was a great
Fuck
game,
that
though.
series.
Like there's
That was a
Cyberpunk,
fun,
Resident
nice
Evil
game, though.
3,
It would have
Final
been a fun,
Fantasy
like,
7.
you know what's really fun? Dead Rising 2, the Frank DLC, where it's literally just go and have fun. Like, there's no time limits on shit. That's what Dead Rising should have been. If the second Dead Rising doesn't have time limits, it's a fucking great game. That's
Dead
my
Rising
opinion.
2 doesn't have time limits.
Yes, it does.
Does?
You have certain times to finish missions. You have to get your daughter Zombrex all the time.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many timers on it. That's why I'll never play Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns. But March 2010, I almost did 2020 again. Fuck. Mass Effect 2 actually came out
of
March of
course.
2010.
That's crazy.
And that's crazy to me that I started the decade with what is my favorite game of the decade. That's crazy to me. I remember playing that game, getting up as soon as I could to get to EB Games at the Milton Mall, which is a piece of shit then and is a piece of shit now.
Is it still there?
Oh, yeah, somehow.
Chris, it's in Milton.
No, I know, but
It's
EB's
all we
is
got.
closing like 200 stores in places where there's not too many people.
Well, it's the only. It's like
it's the only.
It's the
video
only
game
one in
store
this.
in
Well,
Europe.
there's two in Milton, but there's one way on the outskirts and one right in the middle. So the middle one's gonna live for sure. But I went there as soon as it opened, got my copy that I obviously pre-ordered,
Yeah.
and I played that game starting at 10 in the morning, the day I got it, and did not put it down till 3 a.m. the following day.
I've done that.
Oh.
And
I've done that.
The only
It
time I
hurts, but I've
stopped
done
was for food and pissing. That was it.
Yeah.
And even then, the
So
pissing
I probably
was
played
like...
it. So that's 15 hours. I probably played 14 hours straight.
The pissing was a close call, too.
No, it was not.
Buy diapers
I'm
next
not
time.
that terrible to my body.
You could have made it so much further if you just bought diapers.
No, I'm not gonna be that episode of South Park where they're playing World of Warcraft. But yeah, no,
It looks
that,
so gross.
that game, quite frankly, I think is what cemented my legacy as being a guy who's gonna love these crazy long games. I know Final Fantasy, Chrono Cross, Persona, like they all have their parts. Mass
Fuck
Effect 2,
Chrono
quite frankly,
Cross.
to this day, Mass Effect 2 may actually be the best game I've ever played, period. Because the game itself, the gameplay is as good as it's going to be.
I need to play it.
The
I can't
story
believe I still haven't played it.
is the best sci-fi story I've ever played. Without question, and probably one of the best stories I've ever played. And because the only game I've ever played that there feels like there are actual stakes. Because you knew it wasn't the end, you knew there was a third. And there is a mission towards the end of the game that you can conceivably lose a fuck ton of your teammates, including your own character. Now, we talked about it when we had the fail podcast that didn't export properly, but you can actually lose your main character in the second game. And I don't know what happens if you do play the third game with that.
Well, you were saying that with the with Mass Effect that you have to have the same system, but you can carry over your save game into the next game.
Yeah, and it was all in the same system, so... Like, basically, it would take your save files. They probably have, like, key points in the save files that tells you what decisions you made. Because if you haven't played the game, you can play Mass Effect 2, and it will say, hey, this is what happens. What would have you done?
Yeah.
So you can... And I would honestly suggest that to you. Don't play the first game.
Oh, yeah?
Because the first game is really, really... unless, like, modders on PC have fixed some of the stuff, a lot of that game is really slow, and especially the open world, because you can land on planets and just drive, and it's dull as shit. So that game is rough. I tried to replay the trilogy recently, and for that reason, I couldn't really do much in that game. I mean, if you want to, you could maybe watch a video that sums up the whole first game and gives you like cutscenes and stuff. I mean, if you can plow through it, you can, but it's a rough game going back to it now and playing it. I could easily go back and play Mass Effect 2.
I'm gonna take a stab at it and think as well. Like, if you play the first one, it's gonna be a long game as well, and it's also gonna feel painfully dated.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. So I found out if your Shepard dies at the end of Mass Effect 2, that save game actually won't import. You'd have to restart 3 with a new Shepard.
Oh, really?
So it would give
That's
you...
not too terrible.
No, but it would do all the decisions again. So you could conceivably make a new Shepard that has the same decisions that you would have made, but it's not your Shepard.
But are you hurting sheep or goat?
No, not that Shepard.
Oh, okay.
That was a really bad joke.
It was supposed to be.
But straight up, like, and even the DLC, like, their DLC is some of the best DLC I've ever played too. There's two of them. One of them people don't like too much. It has this Asian thief called Kasumi, where you basically go on like a heist almost, and you do a little bit of like reconnaissance. Like you're trying to be a bit of a spy, almost James Bond like. I thought that was cool. A lot of people didn't like it too much, but I liked it. But the best deal, and this is, in my opinion, the best DLC ever released on a video game, is called Lair of the Shadow Broker. And it is like a 5 to 6 hour epic DLC. You could honestly make a movie out of that DLC.
Wow.
And it would be so good. And because the story brings back a character from the first game that you doesn't rejoin your party. So it's already like, oh, cool, we finally get to play with her. And then the story is like super like Tom Cruise action spy movie level shit. And then the final boss battle is so epic. For a space third-person shooter, it's so fucking good. And it just... Everything about it.
Is it like a gigantic boss, or...
I mean, gigantic in the sense of you're not
Size.
fighting a human.
No, I mean, like, is it like...
No, but there is a boss in the second game that you're basically fighting like a giant sandworm, which is fun.
Damn.
So, do you have to say Beetlejuice anytime during the game?
No, you do not have to say Beetlejuice.
Okay.
You say... Shepard, Shepard, Shepard.
But isn't he already there?
Well, that's why you don't have to say it.
Okay.
See, you're trying to make this game into something it's not, and I don't appreciate this. You're fucking with my favorite game.
Shots fired.
Speaking of fucking Mass Effect, that's the other thing. You could bang a fuck ton of aliens in that game.
Nice.
Can you bang any humans?
No, they're only.
It's an alien pansexual.
In the same game, where in the same vein that Mass Effect 3 does start to have gay options, but actually that's not true. There are lesbian options in the games, but they didn't really have gay options until the third one, which I guess kind of makes sense because I mean most of the people that were playing were guys, and I think guys are okay with seeing two big booby girls going at it.
If I can play as a lesbian and be a lesbian, I do it.
Well, yeah,
makes sense.
Do you remember Fox News having a crazy thing about the original Mass Effect, and they had Jeff Keighley on?
No.
So there's and this is probably how we'll finish it because I can't speak about Mass Effect 2 anymore without like that's a game that I know is 10 years old, but I don't want to spoil it because there's so much fun stuff in it. But when the original game came out, this is still in the original life. No, this would have been 360. But obviously there's sex scenes because BioWare likes their sex scenes. And
what?
I guess, because Fox is that crazy Christian Republican bullshit.
Yeah.
They had a segment that they called Sex Box, where they had the X in apostrophe, so it's like Xbox, but it's Sex Box.
Fucking hell.
And it's these two women that have never played a video game in their life, unless it's like Pong or Pac-Man. You can tell. And they had Jeff Keighley, who's the guy who does the Game Awards. And they were talking about how Mass Effect, because in the same vein that like people freaked out about San Andreas because of hot coffee, even though it technically isn't in the game, it's just something you have to break the game to get to.
Yeah, and even then, yeah.
But in this, they claimed that you could not only participate in a sex scene, but it was early in the game, you didn't have to do anything to get to it, and you had full autonomous control of what happened. Mm-hmm. And they're like, and kids can play this. And they're like, it's an M-rated game.
Yeah, it's an M-rated game.
It's an M-rated game first, so immediately it's an M-rated game. So that blows us away. Kids can't play it. It's the same argument we had when we talked about if video games are violent or not.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to have your kids playing Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty. That's on the parents.
That's on the parents.
It's not the industry's fault. So that's the first point taken away. The second point is they said you had full control over the sex scene. It's a cutscene. That's it.
Yeah, like,
the only control you have is skipping the cutscene.
Press triangle to grab your dick.
The only the only control you have is who you fuck and what gender you are.
Yeah.
They said it's full nudity. It's not. It's alien side boob at most.
Yeah.
Like literally, even if it's two girls, it's side boob. There's no nipplage. You see like a side of an ass and a side of a boob. That's it. It's more tame than you would see in any fucking movie that probably got an Oscar nomination.
Hashtag free the nipple.
They said that it came early in the game. It's literally near the fucking last mission of the game. It's like a reward for relationship throughout the entire game.
It wasn't a booty call. It was a beautiful relationship being built.
So all these things they complained about just aren't accurate. And Jeff Keighley, and I used to hate the guy because this is the guy that used to be synonymous for sitting with like Doritos and Mountain Dew and doing like big Call of Duty ads and stuff.
Yeah.
But this guy went on and said, "Have either of you even played the game?" And they're like, "No." And he's like, "Well, then I hate to tell you, but all the stuff you're saying is wrong." And he just proceeds to just slam them with stuff. And it's like, by the way, we have this thing called the ESRB. It says right on the fucking box, partial nudity, gratuitous violence, like all this kind of stuff. It's like,
you must be 17 to play. Or 18. I don't know if, is M 17 or 18?
17.
17.
No, I think M is 18.
No, it's 17. It's 17 plus.
What's 18 then?
It would have been X-rated. It would be like X-rated, or it would be 8. It would be like it'd be AO for adults only.
Yeah, and any kid right now can open up Netflix, open The Witcher, and literally the first episode has like an orgy in it.
Dude, the first 3 minutes of Expanse is a fucking 0G sex scene.
Yes. Also, Google has porn all over it.
Yes, you just type in boobs in Google and
Google will be like, "Yes, sir."
Yes, here's Google Images.
Oh, no. Oh,
do not even click on websites. Here is
are you seeing this? This is a new thing going on right now, Google versus Bing for search results. So you go on Bing, it'll be even more gratuitous.
Who the fuck uses Bing?
I don't know.
Porn users.
Oh, yeah, smart idea.
Actually,
but yeah, no.
His parents are going to go, I'll check the Googles.
I'll tell you a funny
here.
thing about Bing in a second. Well, go ahead.
But yeah, no, that was the reason why my Mass Effect kind of just got on my list anyway, because I already saw the controversy with it. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this shit? And then I played the game. I'm like, that's the fucking thing they were mad at?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, it's hot, but it's not that bad.
See, I remember now why, because I have the first 2 Mass Effect games on Steam, and I remember going to try and play them, and I couldn't remember why I didn't keep going. They don't have controller support. That was my issue. So it was only keyboard. Weird. Well, it was like 2010.
Fair enough.
For the second game. So the first game's even before that. It's like PC gaming wasn't as connected to console stuff.
It's
but
also
Steam
weird
has
when
added controller support since, so I will now play.
Then it got real weird when like Dragon Age Inquisition came out, and then they started actually having nipples. I'm like, oh, nipples!
Dude, you should see the ones in Dante's Inferno.
No, I don't want to because
They're right next to the aborted babies in hell.
No.
No, I'm talking about like the actual ones, not like the demonic.
Well, yeah, but the
satanic
first time
ones.
you see it is on a dead woman.
No.
She gets fucking killed.
Doesn't she get killed while she's topless?
Yes.
So she was alive for a bit.
Doesn't know.
Oh no, no. They were when they were being shown. She is alive-ish.
Oh well. Anyway,
Alive-ish.
moving away from nipples, Mass Effect 2 is the greatest game of the decade. But yeah, that's what I got. So honestly,
You're convincing me to play it.
I think we're just gonna end here because we need to quickly move on to our other show, which is gonna be about films. So I even say like all our Twitter handles and stuff. Who gives a shit? I mean, it's all in the YouTube comments, and I think
and it's on our card.
Yeah. So thanks for watching the gaming version of this, and in about 2 seconds we will go back and do the film version, which is going to be probably a lot more painful.
Maybe
Live long and prosper, and use the Force.
Hey, Star Trek is on my list,
Oh,
but we'll get to that. So thanks for
you didn't
watching and
hear the
listening, guys.
second part of that, did you?
Yes,
Okay.
I know you did that in fucking what the last movie we saw? What was it? Knives Out. Oh, when we were watching the trailer for Star Wars, and you were just like, "Live long and prosper." I'm like, "Shut up."
I wanted to go watch Star Wars. Wearing, you know what? We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, whatever. But thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you on the next show, which will probably be out the same day.
Yep. See you soon.